Madagascar. That was possibly, honestly, my favourite game on the PS2. The level design.
You've killed Chris.
Get Star Wars Battlefront 2!
This game's better. I stand by it.
Let's now compare Madagascar, the game, to The Witcher 3. I'm really enjoying this video game. You know, I'm playing it with my Nintendo Switch. I'm pressing the buttons, I'm moving the character, I'm tapping the screen. I'm doing everything you're supposed to do with the video game. Hello everybody, welcome to the FTR1 podcast. I'm here with Jack Oswald Wanker. How are you doing?
I'm green.
And we're also joined by a collection of pots and pans who are in a human costume that looks very much like a boy called Matt. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good.
Not even
Who knew
remotely green.
You knew pots could be that well. Well, guys,
There's no. I couldn't think of a good joke about pots.
you guys know why we're
Just
here.
be genuine. Sometimes you just have to be genuine.
Sometimes,
There you
guys, I think, similar to our last episode, we are so in sync. We always know what
Sometimes.
each other are thinking. Every time. So, I thought, how can we use this hive mind mentality for good? And I was like, well, it's easy. If 3 people can make individual lists, and as I know you guys, and we're so in sync, that our top 10 best video games of all time are 100% going to be exactly the same. So there's going to be no reason to argue what should be number 10, number 9, number 8. So I thought we'd just go through, we'd mention our honourable mentions, because I think that's when, like, you know, probably it's going to kick in and we're going to have some different suggestions. It's not a big deal and we can kind of talk through a couple of those. Then we get into the big stuff. And you guys can see how in sync we are. And, you know, I think we don't have to compare the lists at all. We'll go section by section, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll all be able to decide quite firmly. It'll pop up, number 10, you know, 1, 2, 3, they're all the same, pop it onto that column. I think not only is this a great franchise to see how in sync we all are, we can move this into movies, TV shows, and I think this will be our quickest podcast ever. How does it sound to you guys? It has legs.
I can already tell you that movies and TV shows would have been far easier than video games.
Interesting.
Okay.
They wouldn't have been for me.
They wouldn't have been for me at all, because I'm too prickly with them. It would have been very hard to narrow it down.
It might just be that I would have had way more to pick and choose from.
Well, don't worry.
Yeah,
We've got
with-
episodes
with
2 and 3 for
games,
that. Don't worry.
Good games stay with me for my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you a show, well, I can a couple, but like I can't make a top 10 for like, I can't compare TV shows I watched last weekend and finished to like shit from my childhood.
So,
I can with video games though.
Before we get into our top 10s, which are all going to be exactly the same, and there'll be no argument about what's going to be in 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, I thought in order to give people kind of like the variation, the spice of life, we could show off the games that didn't quite make the top 10, which are all going to be the same. And so we can kind of discuss kind of people's personal stuff, so then people have a baseline to work off when we go through the 10 and see how those 10 games just bring in all audiences. So,
Sure.
Matthew, could you copy down 11 to 18?
No.
No. Would you like me to do it?
Yes, please.
Yes. No worries. And these are in order, aren't they?
I mean, the ones that are like didn't make the top 10, they're very similar. I feel like the order is less important in here.
So I can see
There are
some games.
interesting games in here.
I can
There are
already
some
see some
interesting games
overlap
here.
with my recommended it.
Similarly,
So, yeah.
a couple, yeah.
Yeah, so I can see. So first off, we all know you're a big Yu-Gi-Oh head. You love your Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Um,
That
I,
was in my
I
top 10 until I remembered another game that had to overtake it.
the game that us two were thinking about. Obviously, we know.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
I had a really good game on my Game Boy Advance, and I really liked it. Of course, Shrek Super Slam, competitive masterpiece, as we all know.
Yeah.
I
Buzz
don't
quizzes, huh?
don't want
Buzz
to say
quizzes.
anything, but
Buzz quizzes, huh?
I love
Yes.
them. I played them all the
Oh.
time with my family. That was like the first game
Yeah.
I played on the PS2. It came with
it
the
didn't
PS2.
quite make my list, but I
It
agree.
was one of the first gaming memories I have is playing that game, and
Got into gaming
it
late
was
then.
it was a fun evening, like Friday evening with the family. Games
Fridays.
night game.
Yeah.
Wii Sports?
Again, similar story. Big on the family games, you know.
Can we
Get
just
to play them with them.
talk about the Simpson sandwich with the Metal Gear Rising
Yeah.
filling? It's quite an
Very
interesting.
interesting. That's an
format.
interesting delicacy.
So Metal Gear Rising was like the only the only
It's the-
experience I had with the Metal
Let's
Gear
be honest.
franchise.
If you were talking to like a pro gamer, it's the only one they'd accept as a proper game in your top.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
Is it? I don't know anything about Metal Gear.
It's like
Metal
it's
Gear-
one of
it
those
was- it was
serious
a very good
franchises.
game. It was I found it very hard playing that game. Like,
I played Revengeance, and it was stupid.
I got
But Hit and
That's
Run,
all
Hit
I
and
can
Run
say.
is a classic.
Hit and Run's famous. I've never played for Hit and Run,
the,
but
the only
I,
reason,
yeah.
the only reason I couldn't put it in my top 10 is that I only ever got to play it at my friend's house. I did not own a copy of the game.
Matt, I'll bring a copy of the game for PlayStation 2 and we'll get you that experience you've been deprived of all your life.
Oh
Don't
man,
worry,
I can't
boy.
wait to have a PlayStation 2. I think I still have one.
I still
You
have
can get
mine
them at
and all
Kex.
the
They cost
games.
like
It's
50 quid there now.
doing this, picking out my best games of my entire life. It is depressing how many of them are not even a decade within reach. Like PlayStation 3, wowzers!
And I
what a
don't want to go
dumpster
into
fire.
much detail
Even
about
PC,
it, but
even the
let's just
God
say
damn it.
Battlefront 2 is a phenomenal choice, lads. Well done.
I
yeah.
imagine that will recur several
Fuck
times.
yeah, that might because I've
Again,
Okay,
again, couldn't make the top 10 because I didn't own a copy of it. I only ever got to play it at my friend's.
don't worry.
Battlefront is a
now-
fucking game. Jesus Christ!
Would you like me to copy your top, or are
Hit
you
me.
happy to copy yours in?
You do it.
I'll do it. Okay. I have to count yours down because you didn't pop it in didn't lower it down.
do you
You
mean? I
didn't
didn't-
number them. You fool. Even Matt managed
do you
to do
mean?
that. Jesus.
It's
I put a
1 to
break in
10,
mine,
and then
but,
I'm sorry
Don't
that
worry,
you
I've got
can't
them.
count to from 11 onwards. Do you not recognise 11 as a distinct number from 10?
Oh, there's an overlap here that I didn't even realise was going to happen. Fuck. So we'll start from the top.
Oh, I know Age of Mythology is one of your big
Fucking
boys.
love Asian mythology. I love that.
Yeah,
game.
that was my first game. That was the first game I basically ever played.
It was that
on
and
the
Age
PC.
of Empires 2 I got at the same time, along with Worms Armageddon.
I never
Those
played
two
that one.
games.
But yeah,
Age of Empires 2, very similar to Age of Mythology. And
Yeah,
I brought
yeah,
it for you, so we will play it at some point. Don't worry. Fucking great game. Doom Eternal. I haven't gotten into it too far, but I liked
Incredible.
what I saw. I liked what I
literally one of the tightest first-person shooters and a retro first-person shooter with a fucking incredible budget, like first-person shooter, modern-day style.
saw. Yeah.
The tightest
Factorio.
gameplay you'll ever see.
I love the choice.
Could just play it for hours.
I love
like,
Factorio.
it's just
I
so
mean,
satisfying.
we played it and like I ended up completing that world that we did because we
Yeah,
never
yeah,
played
you did
again.
it surprisingly fast as
Yeah,
well. Like
I
it took me hours. I've got 400 hours in that game. It took me several hundred before I even bothered completing it. Like,
And what, like two games, very opposite stories here. Blur. I can't believe somebody else owned the game.
Blur is one of the best. A lot of
It's
these I
the
played with my
best
older brother.
FPS.
A lot of the games I play with my older brother. Blur is one of the best racing games I've ever played.
Wait,
Genuinely,
racing
I've ever
game?
played.
I'm thinking of the shooter called Blur.
Interesting. Which game's that?
It was
What the fuck?
360. It didn't do that well, but it was like very hardcore focused, and it's like
I
nobody really
swear,
picked up the
it
game.
rings a bell. Which game is this? What does it look like? What's the
It's
aesthetic?
got a blue. It's got a blue background. I just need to check. Oh, it might be called Blink instead, or like Brink.
Oh, Brink? You mean Brink?
Brink. I really like
This
that
fucking
game.
pleb. Brink was aesthetically nice, yeah.
It's actually nice. It was nice gameplay wise until you got to a ledge and you couldn't jump over it. But otherwise, the game it had a good idea.
Blur is like Mario Kart, but photorealistic and a lot faster.
Oh well, I had.
It's very good.
I was considering
very
Need for
good.
Speed and like Burnout, but
It's like an
Yeah,
arcade race. It's
Need for Speed
Burnout
or
if it was an arcade racer. It's
Gran
literally mixed
Turismo.
slam Burnout and Mario Kart
Yeah.
together, and you've got Blur.
Funny
It's very
story
cool.
about Ratchet and Clank Locked and Loaded. I brought that game pre-owned, played the first level, got to the loading screen. That's as far as I got because it never went off that
no.
first loading screen.
You missed a fucking
And
wild ride. I
I've
love
never
Ratchet
played a
and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank game since.
I've played a couple. I played one of the more recent I think a PS3 one.
The
where it's like
PS5
a brand
one
new.
is
Like,
really good.
they are the modern ones are gorgeous and they play just like the old ones. It's one of the most like authentic, old school.
I think it's something that
icon games.
I know I'd like, but like I was burnt that time, so I've been waiting until a good game to come around, and I think the new one.
Ratchet and
might
Clank
be
Locked
it.
and Loaded is one of the better ones. From what I
Magic the
remember.
Gathering Arena. Craig's not here. You don't need to talk about that. Asian mythology.
Yeah, I didn't put Hearthstone in mine. I just couldn't
So
bring
MTG, I
myself-
just thought
like
it's not MTGA. It's just Magic as a
feel-
game. It's
I
like an
feel like
incredible
there's
game.
yeah, I feel like there's more games I could have put in this list
Yeah.
that I just avoided because it was just I was exhausted. I was struggling to
Yes.
put
Yeah.
some around. Like
It's gotta
you're
mean
gonna-
something to
you're-
you.
You guys are going to be listing off games.
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
I was just thinking, I was like the Spyro games when I played those. They're not on my
Yeah.
top 10, but they were.
They could have been.
They
Yeah.
could have been.
Yeah.
I had a Game Boy Advance Spyro game that was pretty good, and then like Age of Mythology, Deep Rock. I'm very happy to see RimWorld fucking represented.
RimWorld
I
is
almost
amazing.
put that or Prison Architect on my
what a-
top.
Good things.
It's really good. It just builds a narrative completely organically, and like it's amazing. It's really clever how it works.
And finally,
Disco Elysium, I haven't played much of.
I
but-
haven't played much of. I need to go
wow.
back. Can't talk to me about
Wow.
it because I need to.
Fuck
explore
me
that.
dead. What a ridiculous. You know the people that made Disco Elysium are not English.
That's incredible.
They're like
Considering
Estonian.
how it's like
Yeah.
it's so
The
poetic.
writing is obscene.
Okay, so we'll go from bottom to top with this one, but
This will be fascinating.
Mine was fucking difficult, and I can say that my top 10, like all of your top 10s, there is no genre overlap because I've played a very broad range of games, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff in games that I like, and it's normally certain things that mainly gameplay has to be key for me. I don't give a shit about graphics. If the gameplay's good, I'm fucking loving it. This is my game list, which is, we'll start at the bottom. Jackbox. I didn't know which one to pick, so I couldn't put it any higher, but Jackbox is a general party game. Phenomenal.
Right, there is no
really good.
Jackbox on it. What do you mean?
Like Drawfall. It's the ones that we play over.
The
like,
bottom one is Star Wars Jedi Starfighter.
Star Wars Jedi Starfighter is PS1. It's a PS1 game where you are in control of a cockpit and you go around and you fight in space as like a starship, like fucking shooting people. I played it when I was really young. It's a fucking incredible game, absolutely incredible. The star combat is amazing. It's like you're flying a ship. It's incredible,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah.
could do it on the like PS1 controller. It was great. Babette Is You is one of the most innovative puzzle games I've ever played in my
Yeah.
life. It's
I
incredible.
was
played
debating
a
putting
lot
it
of
on
that with you, Jamie, and it
Yeah.
was incredible. But
It's
again,
incredible.
It's one of those
I don't know
that
how
can't
far
put
you are
down
in that,
because
honestly.
I don't
Yeah.
own many games. I
Yeah.
play games with people, so that I don't have to spend the money myself.
Nintendo Land is one of the best multiplayer experiences I own. It's for
I
the
literally
Wii
no idea
U.
what that is.
It's for the Wii U. You play it. It's 5 players, and it's mainly for the mini games. Luigi's Mansion mini game, the Mario mini game where you have to chase down Mario. So Luigi's Mansion, one person plays a ghost, 4 other people have to like go around and hunt the ghost, and the ghost can kill people. and you have to kill the people before you get until you run out of health from getting the light shone on them. Mario, you all play as Toad trying to catch Mario, and the third one is an Animal Crossing game where you have to pick up balls and pick up enough before like the two guards do it, and one player controls two guards with both analog sticks.
Yes.
Very good collection, and there's some good mini games in there as well. The WarioWare DSi app it's a WarioWare game that was only an app that you could buy from the eStore. It is actually a lot of fun. It's just the WarioWare mini games. It cuts out all of the fluff. They only picked really good mini games to put in there. Very good. Animal Crossing New Horizons. If you like Animal Crossing, you 100% understand why I put it there.
It's the quintessential Animal Crossing's game.
It is, and I will say this now because of what I put in my list. It is the second best life sim game I've ever played.
Interesting.
And it's very different from the one that I picked in the first place. But I think the main one is that I think you are slightly restricted in Animal Crossing, but the aesthetic and how you feel and how it interacts with the player is on another level from the other game. It's just the other game has a lot more gameplay freedom, whereas the other one is more story based in terms of how it grabs the player. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2 is my introduction to fighting games. I cannot, even though I know it might be a shit game as well, but it's so much fun.
I mean, the depth, I saw, and I think I know Tenkaichi 3. Was that the one that Craig played?
Yes, that was.
Yes.
The ridiculously in depth, unbelievable number of characters.
I've
makes Smash look like a fucking mobile game. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah. Rayman M
pretty sure
is a 3D arena fighter with the Rayman characters. It is a game that I don't think many people have played. I would recommend picking it up. It is so much fun.
Wow.
I think the main thing is that you do not want to play against a computer. Play against someone you know. I played against it with my brother all the time. Fantastic. Absolutely phenomenal. Robot Wars. I am talking both the GBA game and the PC game. You can make your own robots. You fight in arenas. You can fight the house robots. If you are a Robot Wars fan, it is a dream come true. If you like to build stuff, it is a dream come true. And if you like fighting robots, you build a robot with you can add flamethrowers, crushers, flippers. You can adjust the power. You can see how much it does, and it's all different fighters. You have to do the wheels, the engine, how it works. It's very in depth.
Wow.
It's so good. It's like Bamzuki on drugs. It's all I can explain to it. Rayman 3 Hoodlum Havoc is the game that got me into single player games. Phenomenal game. Rayman is by far and away, that is the best 3D platformer I've played. The cans are amazing. The grapple hook power up is the best power up in any game because Rayman looks so fucking cool in it. I don't give a shit.
If this
and
is
the
what he's
third
talking
level in the
about.
desert is the best level in video games in terms of horror aesthetic in a non-horror game.
If this is the level of hyperbole he has for number 25 on his list, what's going on?
Yeah, Rayman 3 Hoodlum Havoc is the second best horror game I've played after Fatal Frame, which didn't make the list because walking around controls a little bit chunky. Zoo Tycoon is the best tycoon game you can play, and I only put this on this list with the marine and dinosaur expansion because it's great to make a zoo, put the T-Rex exhibits at the front, get rid of the path to the exit, and oh no, there's a gap in the electric fence. T-Rex attack everybody. Amazing. Binding of Isaac Rebirth takes Binding of Isaac and elevates it to a level never before seen. One of the best roguelikes I've ever played at all. Multiple characters who feel exceedingly different. Even the first character you play as, Isaac, gets developed afterwards with the addition of the D6 item, which allows you to reroll items in the dungeon, which is the best gameplay addition ever, because you get slight control on your delving experience with remaining the randomization of the run. Star Wars Battlefront 2, not the new one, which is shit, or the new Battlefront 1, which is shit. Battlefront 2 has more features, more gameplay than both of its sequels combined. Galaxy Conquest is one of the best modes ever. You can play
Galaxy
1v1
Conquest
as a Jedi in most...
I forgot that thing existed until you said those words. What the fuck? What a game mode.
Fuck me. I don't need to say anything
insane.
more about that game. Age of Mythology we've already discussed. Kirby's
Literally,
Epic Yarn.
Age of Mythology gave me a Latin degree. That's how good Age of Mythology is.
Yeah, it's pretty much, if you've done a Latin A level, which I've done a classics
It
A
will have
level,
been because of Age
I
of
got
Mythology.
I get an A in Latin in GCSE. Thank you, Age of Mythology. Kirby's Epic Yarn is the best Kirby game, and the strangest thing about it is that you do not have Kirby's definitive ability to copy opponents' moves, because the yarn
That's weird.
mechanics of the game are
Yeah.
phenomenal. It is the best multiplayer game, like cooperative multiplayer game you can get. If you want to play a single player story with two people, you can play as Prince Fluff and Kirby taking on Yin Yarn across the yarned dreamland, and it is surprisingly fun. It's very chilled. Drink alcohol whilst playing it. It's a game that you want to fuck with the person you're playing with whilst doing it. It's so much fun. Civ 5, amazing 4K game. As somebody who doesn't have a lot of people who play 4K games in their life, it is a game that I can actually convince people to play, because the
4X?
basis is accessible, and it gets people wanting to come back for more. Which, I would love to put Stellaris or something in there, or Crusader Kings 3, but they are not.
Much, though, isn't it?
It's hard to get people into those games. Civ 5 is approachable.
Civ 5
Civ
is a
6,
good
I think, is more
introductory.
approachable, but it doesn't feel as satisfying to play. It seems like sometimes Barbarians or something luck can sway it, which in a 4K
Civ
game
6 is
great. Smash is at 18. This is the only Smash game I put on there. That's how hard this list is for me. Smash
I'm
Ultimate
amazed that Smash
is
is
the ultimate Smash game. If it had the story mode of Brawl, it might be approaching the top 10, but it wouldn't get there.
Was incredible.
It's mainly like, what can I say? You are playing video game icons, and you're fighting them together.
It's a tight ass fucking game.
Tight ass fucking game.
The mechanics. Are
The
delightful.
the second best platform fighter I've ever played. Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. I hate Lord of the Rings.
Is this the RTS?
I fucking hate. No, this is a PlayStation 2 game where you play as Gimli, Gandalf, or whoever you want. You play through the events of Return of the King. I hate Lord of the Rings. This game
I don't remember this.
justifies the existence of the Lord of the Rings franchise. It's that good. It's so good that 2 weeks ago, randomly on r/gaming, somebody posted a picture of it saying, this is the game that most deserves a fan HD remake, and it was the top post for the next 2 days.
Wow.
And I'm glad I'm not the only one who remembers that game.
Wow, really?
The Simpsons Hit and Run, we've discussed it.
Yep.
It's the best version of GTA they've ever released. Amazing. Thank you, Rockstar. Digimon Rumble Arena 2 somehow is the best platform fighter I have ever played in my life. I don't even give a shit about
That's
Digimon.
fascinating.
It is so much fun. You can evolve your characters in the game. One of the characters evolves into a cactus with boxing gloves. Fuck me. That instantly puts you high on the list. Not only that, the ladybug nerd who is actually able to beat up everyone with his lightning bolt attack, or the seal that you can run around and fight with. There's such a diversity of fighters, and it's so much fun. Portal 2 is one of the best puzzle games I have ever played. And it has a multiplayer mode, which actually adds so much more to what you can do with the puzzles. And I am pissed off that Valve has not made Portal 3. I don't give a shit about any of the other franchises. Give me a Portal 3. Destroy All Humans 2 is the game that actually makes me... It prevents me from saying that all third-person shooters are trash. Because the amount of variation in the weapons, the humour of the games... This game taught me what fucking masturbation was when I looked it up when I was 8. I shouldn't have owned this game, but it's one of the most fun games I've played in my life. You play as an alien, you can make people shit themselves and blow their brains out whilst doing it. You can make a meteor strike go down, or you can use the fucking destructo disc, which if you play the game, that's the only weapon you used, to make everything fling all around the fucking place. And you can possess a UK policeman in like the 1980s, which is like the best version of a UK policeman. Outstanding. Breath of the Wild comes in 12th place. The second most innovative open world games ever. The only thing that draws it back is its open world lacks a story, and I think the urban environments are lacking in terms of the rural environments. If you go randomly to anywhere in the map in Breath of the Wild, there is something to do. There doesn't need to be a goal because the world, the gameplay mechanics alone, the chemical system they developed is so much fun to play about with by itself that actually everything else seems superficial. The fact you have to kill Ganondorf at the end of the game
Irrelevant.
is probably the most irrelevant thing in the whole game because it doesn't matter because everything else in the game is so good. The overworld makes that game. The shrines are not that creative. The story isn't that great because half of it seems rushed and the other half seems thought through. The main boss battle is very quick, but the final dungeon and the entire world of the game is so good that you forget that half of the game is trash because the other half of the game is some of the best game design that anyone has ever made in their life. But if you want to talk about a game of small developers that have completely stretched their budget to the limit, Zack and Wiki's Quest for Barbosa's Treasure, a puzzle game only made for the Wii, which wasn't very successful because it was a 3D puzzle game where you play as a pirate called Zack with a magical monkey called Wiki, which when Wiki turns into a bell instead of a flying monkey, can transform any living thing into an item or any item into a living thing, is one of the most innovative and fucking amazing puzzle game mechanics ever. And it makes it one of the most exciting and just fucking amazing puzzle games in existence. And that is just the stuff that I put.
That's just the top
10.
That didn't even make
that's the honourable mentions.
Okay, guys, are you ready for the easiest podcast ever? Because I'm about to reveal number 10 and we're all going to be on the same page. Okay? 3, 2, 1. What the fuck, guys? What's this?
What's SSX on tour?
What is first of all, what is SSX on? No, 1 second.
I don't know
It's
what SSX is.
snowboarding.
It must be snowboarding.
It was the skiing and snowboarding game franchise of the fucking generation. It was incredible. It was all of my friends played it. Not necessarily on tour, but like SSX3 I think was the big one that a lot of people had, or SSX Tricky, and they were some good games.
What a
It was
surprise!
really
President of
fucking
the
good
Ski Society.
I'm gonna say right now. My number one. It's a franchise, and it, as one of the side notes, has some of the best skateboarding / like trick based sort of boarding gameplay ever.
I mean,
Now-
I don't know if it will supersede
this.
this.
Wasn't just doing tricks. This was like you would race and do tricks. And
Okay, it's racing as well.
you're doing
Right.
like off-piste stuff, like you're jumping over roads, you're flipping off of buildings. All whilst it was so ridiculous.
Somewhat Fast and Furious.
I've just looked,
It's the
guys.
Fast and Furious of video games.
Guys, I just looked up SSX on tour, PlayStation 2, and I actually own this game. And I returned it because I couldn't figure out the controls.
That says a lot about the three of us, doesn't it?
Yeah. GTA
Okay,
5.
so that's that. GTA 5 might be the game I've spent the most time in of any games. Full stop. I spent the majority of my teenage years playing this game and doing nothing else. It got me through some tough fucking times. And funnily enough, there was one specific aspect of it that got me through those times, and that was driving. I don't give a shit about the story, though. The story of this game is pretty damn good. It is a funny game at times. It's, B tier. The gunplay, mediocre. The driving is genuinely my favourite driving physics of any game. Bar none. Bar none.
That's a tough sell for me, lads.
Literally bar none. Not like the customization is pretty cool.
Considering
the
what's coming
fucking
later,
physics.
considering what's coming later on the list, a fat
I
chance
know
that's
what's coming
the
for you.
best.
Yeah,
Oh,
of course.
yes, of course we know one game that's coming. As we get closer to it, you'll realise where it
But
is.
no, the physics, the like just the way cars feel in GTA 5 is better than I've never played a game that had better feeling to, like, the cars have a weight, they drift properly. It's amazing.
I would honestly say that GTA 5. Not sure about what you're saying about the gaming, but from if you want to play a game with mods other than Skyrim, this is like one of the
Also
best
that,
games to
yeah.
have for that.
I mean, never really got into the mods because I played it mostly on PS3, and then I moved to PC and got it
I think
again,
that
and
immediately
then I
drops
played
down
with
some marks
some
in my
mods.
head if you're rating it on the PS3 version.
No, well, precisely the opposite. If I played it without mods and loved it that much, like it was mainly just the, like, you could do so many things with it, like the like serenity of just driving along the fucking highway in the night or whatever. Like it was a adaptable enough game that you could do anything you wanted with it, and that was in single player alone. It on a PlayStation 3 with no HD or 60 frames a second. That was like the fucking bare minimum. And then when I moved to PC, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna melt.
Tekken 5 is what I would say the most entertaining. It's got a massive roster. It's an entertaining fighter, and as somebody who had never played a fighting game before, I think one of the games I played before this was Final Fantasy VII, which is a game that I dropped and almost maybe stopped playing video games altogether because it's such a bad introduction to video games. I don't care what people have to say about the story. The story might be very good. It's a very controversial view, but as a kid, I just couldn't get my head around how the first game worked because you had to go through all these menus to upgrade a character and shit. It just wasn't good, and I fought against the first boss multiple times, and I couldn't get past it. Tekken 5, fighting games are very hard to get into. I understood Tekken 5, and the way it does that is that it has the best designed characters in the fucking world. Yoshimitsu wearing a Mexican hat with little tags coming off the side, looking like a ghoul with his little sword. He can go into the flee position or fly around with his helicopter. And you can do a move called seppuku where you stab yourself and your opponent goes down to 1 HP. And it kills your opponent and you go down to 1 HP. Phenomenal game design. And that's one of the characters. King is absolutely phenomenal. Master Raven is amazing. You have the bears. You have Mokujin, best character in the game. Please nerf, please. Tekken 5 is amazing. And when you think Tekken 5 can't get any player, they put a second game inside Tekken 5 where you play as Devil Jin breaking out of a facility in a kind of over-the-top person mode, similar to Black Ops, where you unlock that extra mini game. You got that in Tekken 5, along with every previous Tekken game was unlockable in the game that you could play it.
Yeah, I heard about this, which is amazing.
And the final boss,
which alone makes us probably have to pick it because of Tekken 3.
It's Tekken 5 is amazing because not only is Tekken 5 the best fighting game I've ever played with a variety of characters, a lot of different movesets, but you can play a load of other Tekken games. You have a mini game in it. The multiplayer is a lot of fun. I got to like second Dan, which I don't know how good that is, but I went through multiple different name titles where there was like a 10-1, and I got to second Dan. So like,
it sounds pretty good.
It sounds good.
In real life, that's pretty good.
In most martial arts, that is pretty high.
Rather good. Yeah.
Pretty high.
It doesn't.
Which is interesting because I remember beating the shit out of you in Tekken 3.
But Tekken 3 isn't Tekken 5.
So in our flat we had a little thing called the PlayStation Classic.
I was good at
which is not very good. However, it does have one game on it, which is called Tekken 3, and it is.
Wait.
Oh damn!
Can I just say?
Game.
Do you want to know how fun it was to play Tekken 3 on your PlayStation Classic?
Yeah. Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! What are they doing? What is this?
Is he about to bust out Tekken 3, like the original PlayStation game?
I'm sure. I mean, what else can this be?
Here is my PlayStation Classic I brought. for Tekken 3.
You
Because
bought it for Tekken
I
3.
bought it to play Tekken 3. That's how good Tekken 3 is. I brought the PlayStation Classic. There's no other games
Yeah.
worth it on here. It's just it's a
no,
Tekken
it's
3
nothing else.
machine.
That
Nothing
it's got
else.
Metal Gear Solid on it,
And I
it's
don't
still
give a
not
shit.
Tekken 3
Yeah.
because it's got Tekken 3 on it.
It is like this game, listeners, absolutely took over our flat for the best part of a year,
Yeah.
and we got incredibly. I mean, by our from going from like learning the game with no one but ourselves to play it with, we got incredibly good.
Discovering new mechanics and
We
moves.
literally
just
refused to ever look at the manual, and we got.
pre-drinks, Tekken.
I think my favourite one was
Tekken.
coming to your house and
everybody-
being like, "Oh, do you
most
want
of
to
the
play
time we
Tekken 3?"
were
And
hammered.
knowing the beast combos, I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then I can't remember who it was, but they got so angry at me
Craig
because I kept
was
they kept
incredible.
trying to
He
stand
got-
up
he played
and I got my
Yoshimitsu.
flamethrower.
Oh my
I
god!
got so
Yeah,
pissed off.
that thing's you can't do anything against it. Yeah.
Unless
No,
you're the
okay,
professor. So here's how the
Tekken 3
voting
is a
works.
monster.
You will vote for one game out of two. You cannot vote for your own game.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I know what's getting my vote.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
what's
so
getting my vote. I think it's the same
SSX
as you
on
do.
tour.
I'm afraid
It's the
probably a
best
0.
fucking
GTA
show.
5.
It may well wait. Oh, of course you can't vote for anything. Yeah.
Tekken 5.
Tekken 5 gets my vote.
Tekken 5.
Just because it has Tekken 3 in it.
That,
Yeah, exactly.
that's the reason why I set it up this way, lads. Just because I was like, I know that
That's good.
if we happen to, I didn't think we would not, but maybe it's just 9-1. We'll agree on everything. But like, if we didn't, I was like, that's a system where we should get the right game, and if not, we just have to convince other people that our game is better than the other person they're choosing against game.
Watch none of mine make the top 10 because they're all too boring.
I think your number 2 has a fair shot, and I think my number 9
Interesting.
doesn't have a fair shot.
I'm fascinated. Like, it's very interesting them all
Oh,
being rated directly
fuck!
against each other.
This is a category, lads.
This is difficult.
This is difficult.
Oh yeah.
So, shall I start this time? Because
Yeah,
you
you
started with
start.
Matt last time, and then Jamie can start next time. We'll rotate.
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts 2 is the first game I 100% completed.
Wow.
I've never played Kingdom Hearts 1. That's how good this game is. Kingdom
I think I
Hearts.
played this one.
I
Kingdom
played
Hearts
a bit of
2.
this.
Kingdom Hearts 2 is so much fun. I don't know what happens in that game. I honestly couldn't tell you. You go around to Disney places and these edgelord hoodied guys
shade
go around and
thingies,
they're
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
we're
Murdered or
Organisation
something.
13 and we're really cool.
Yes.
The first boss is very
Yeah,
hard, but
let's
you can
go.
get through it. Fuck the boss who kills Goofy. He can fuck right off because you shouldn't have a timer on a water boss on a water fight where he has a guitar and you have 5 minutes to beat him, but it's not enough time to beat the fucking guitar boy, and you have to keep watching the
think I played this
cutscene
one.
where Goofy gets himself killed multiple times. It's
Oh my
fucking
God.
ridiculous. It can fuck off. But other than that, you get to build the gummy ship and you get some pilot controls. Not
Yes,
just good.
you get to build the ship, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
Right. Okay. This is there. I remember this distinctly, and maybe nothing else. There is a side quest in that game that you have to count the number of steps on a staircase, and there's some dumb cunt that thinks that it's a different number walking upwards than walking downwards. Is
Yeah.
that Kingdom Hearts 2?
I think that's Kingdom Hearts.
I've played Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, you get to go to the
That's the only
100
thing I
acre.
remember.
I think the best bit is that there's a hidden level in the game where you can go to the 100-acre woods with Winnie the Pooh, but you have to go to another planet, which is like the Final Fantasy planet, and you have to go into a store, and you go into the store, you read a book, and the book is the 100-acre wood book, and you go into the book and you play with it.
So cool.
Little Mermaid can fuck off, but you can play the Parts of the Caribbean level instead, which is fucking sick.
I don't think I got that. I didn't get that.
You have Nightmare Before Christmas level in there as well. It's got a
There's way
good
more to this
variety of
game than I
Disney
thought there
games.
was, I think.
Yeah,
It's
I
it,
just
it's
remember
a
the
it's
gummy
a
ship in the entry level.
yeah, it's a real good game, and any game where you get to play with Jack Skellington is a game that I have to up in my books. I think it's Kingdom Hearts is definitely the root cause for where turn-based RPGs turned into actual playable games like Final Fantasy 15, and Xenoblade Chronicles, where instead of having turn-based combat, you are actively fighting in the game, but with abilities you can utilise at points in the game to give yourself an advantage, giving the best elements of action and RPG. Kingdom Hearts does that. Kingdom Hearts 1 is not polished. Kingdom Hearts 2 is the realization of what they wanted to do with the franchise. You get drives, which you can utilize, and there are so many different ways of using it. I never used any summons or any magic. I just used drives the entire time, which is basically going into different forms so you get different keyblades with different abilities. For example, the first one you unlock, you get 2 keyblades and you're dual wielding them. And another one you get like fucking lightning body, you can like swift out like all over the fucking place. The drives are really, really good, but the game gives you options, and I think that's the most important thing. And the best bit is that when you finish Kingdom Hearts 2, yeah, there's like a little thing about whatever the fuck's happened in Kingdom Hearts 3 and the other 1,000 spin-offs. You can play Kingdom Hearts 2 and get to the end, and there's a satisfying ending to the game. You don't need to play more Kingdom Hearts games after Kingdom Hearts 2. And in fact, you don't need to play Kingdom Hearts 1 to play Kingdom Hearts 2. You don't need to play it, just skip it. Because it just summarises it all in the first like couple seconds, where Roxas is like, I don't know who I am. Oh, I'm a nobody of this guy called Sora. Oh, that's fucking crazy. Okay, I need to fight this guy, and there's a big fucking dude, and then you're in the game. Brilliant.
Yep, I remember
Brilliant.
all that.
Fuck yeah. All aboard Kingdom Hearts 2. Matt, Skyrim.
Skyrim, yes. Obviously, when it came out, it was a pretty massive game at the time. It was my first
Ridiculous
sort of introduction to these fantasy kind of world, open world quest games. I've played it multiple times with different. I think the first time I played it as a red guard, went running around just whacking people, and then I played it again as like a magic elf or magic cat. Can't quite remember. It's a fantastic game. I just want Elder Scrolls 6 now. When's that coming? It's been a while.
Yeah.
And of course,
It's been some time.
There's 100 fun, silly, and good mods to play if you've got it on PC. It's Skyrim. It's one word. It's Skyrim.
It's literally need I say more?
I have to say, you mentioned the mods words. You didn't mention Argonians, which I'm annoyed at. The third thing, I am pissed off because Microsoft brought Obsidian, who made New Vegas Fallout, which is the best Fallout game, and they are making a fantasy game based in the realm of Skyrim, based on Pillars of Eternity.
Didn't know that.
Which is like, wow, that's amazing.
Wow.
And then Xbox has the fucking audacity to be like, yeah, you know how you made a competitor to Skyrim? We've also brought the developers of Skyrim. So if you want either one, you have to get a fucking Xbox now, you piece of shit. Which, I think it says a lot about.
It's the only thing they have.
I love Kingdom Hearts 2. I can't deny the quality of Skyrim. You're gonna have to sell this to me. You're gonna have to sell this to me because fuck, Skyrim is just that's a bomb that is dropped in fucking ninth place.
Skyrim is like, I remember I played it around a friend's house. I do remember playing it a fair amount, despite not remembering much about it. I remember the shit annoying little child in that like one of those entry villages. I remember the chickens, all of that nonsense.
And when you get the mod, you can kill the.
That's a cracking game. I think I didn't get very far into it. I got to the first, maybe the arrow to the knee place.
Yeah, into Winterfell.
I got to the first dungeon. I never played the main quest, and I've got like 200
game,
hours in that game.
Also, this game was easily the first game that I put a ridiculous number of hours into just from playing it. Like even just the first run through, I think I had over 100 hours of just my first playthrough of it because I just did everything.
Oh no, I remember exactly where I got to.
There's a million.
I had a troll. I had a wintry troll thing that was vastly superior level to me, chasing me all the way up the mountain to the greybeard people who teach you how to Fusradar.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
I had this troll. They had literally like 5,000 health points, and I was brand new little weenie boy to the game, and I was just running for my fucking life away from this thing because it was going to one-shot me.
At that point, I remember running and doing a very similar thing. It might have even been the same thing, and just being vastly underpowered to...
Yep. I wonder if it happens to everyone. I'm not sure.
I think it might have been maybe like hey, this is a point where you should go and do all the other bits on the side before perhaps. You follow the main story.
I don't know. Because
it then introduced you to things like the Thieves Guild and like the magic boys in the wizard school.
That's why I went, boys, magic boy, yeah.
Well, I remember, and also you had like the Dark Brotherhood.
Yeah, there was the werewolf cunts.
Dark Brotherhood, I remember, I went straight through all of those missions from when I found the first, how to get to the first one, and then like just bashed them out one after the other because I think it's a really good story arc. Yeah. And right at the end, you get a magic horse that's like a death horse. I got it. I jumped off it. Game glitched and it drowned in a puddle. And the immortal horse died, and I could never ride it again.
I think my favourite one is do the companions quest ones, like, we're the fighters guild, we're really good fighters, and then like halfway through it's like, actually we're werewolves. Would you like to be a werewolf too? I'm like, I just did this for the XP because I'm a wizard, but I'll be a werewolf. Yeah, fuck it.
You can be a werewolf, you can be a vampire in that game. You can be a thief, a master wizard, a master assassin, a master fighter.
Okay.
Sorry, I've spoken enough about Skyrim. I'll give you
Crash Bandicoot, amazing franchise.
Crash Bandicoot is one of the most influential platformers in history.
I'm curious.
What the favourite choice? The favourite game choice?
That's great.
So okay,
but
big disclaimer time.
It.
I played two of these fuckboys. I played Crash Tag Team Racing, and I played Crash of the Titans. Crash of the Titans was a tremendous close second. Frankly, it was a draw. Oh my word! Never has a game been so colourful and fun, and just fun. It's just fun. That's all I have to. It's just fun. Like what do you want from me? The story, like the way the levels moved, like slowly changed biome between each one. There was always comedy. There was always something gorgeous to look at. The gameplay was fucking fantastic. All of the Titans were so interestingly developed. Like everything about that game. And then Tag Team Racing. What an awesome concept for a game. Very well executed. Really interesting levels. The actual race courses were really fucking wacky. The overworld itself had there was a theme park. The plot was weird. It was great fun. Everything, even the AI. Bear in mind this was like early PS2. The AI was like reasonable. Fucking hell, Crash Bandicoot. The early years. You knew what you were fucking doing, friend. Like Jesus Christ. Wow. I can't say anything more. It's just tight ass old school platforming like nothing else.
It's the fact that you've picked two two very different games, as we all have.
Yeah, they're two very, 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 very different games. Ooh. And like even like Crash Bandicoot, like Tag Team Racing and Crash of the Titans themselves are very different games. Which is what I love about Crash Bandicoot. It's like the early stages, they were really just trying some random bullshit.
Crash of the Titans isn't that well loved by the community, but no,
it's not. It's fucking hated.
I love that game.
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
Everything I like the Titans play so interestingly. Like some of them are reskins of older ones, but like and the way the levels progress. This man has elevated
to the end of a level, tier list in terms of saying
perfectly into the next level. Amazingly, I always loved. I've never seen that in a platformer quite so well done. Like where you end a game, where you begin a level, is right from behind, like where you started the last one. But in the biomes are so versatile and so different and so vivid, and they find a way to flow them perfectly, seamlessly through each other. It's incredible how it does it. I love that game. and it's so fucking weird and funny.
It's incredible how I don't think I ever would have. I didn't think I'd ever find somebody else who liked the Titans, Crash of the Titans. That's incredible. That's leveled up you in the right
Just
things.
the
Don't
fucking
worry,
offices where you just play with those little like rodent cunts, and they're all in their offices just nerding out, and you play as the freezy dude, and you just run through like fucking just shanking printers and photocopiers left, right, and centre.
Shit.
It's so funny. The whole thing is funny. Every single level is funny in some way. I remember, no joke, sitting there for half an hour listening to the dialogue between two of the little scientists just chatting shit. They were not important. It was halfway through a random fucking game. Like, so much attention to detail in that game. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay, let's do a vote, and then if it's a tie, we have to discuss further. So.
It can't be a tie, can it? Oh, it can.
It can be. If we all vote for each other. So, Kingdom Hearts 2. It's not going to be a tie, lads.
No.
Crash Bandicoot.
Damn it.
Skyrim. If he put down Crash of the Titans, he probably would have won it. I'm just going to say.
Shit. I should have.
I don't know. But I'm so happy that somebody else likes that game. But I don't think I'll ever find somebody.
Crash of the Titans is exquisite game.
Okay. So, number 8 is... So, who started last time?
You did.
So it's Jamie.
So it's me. Yeah, it's me. So what have we got here? Unfortunately, oh Jesus Christ! I don't think I'm winning this, but I don't know what I'm voting for out of YouTube because I ain't played either of those.
Oh my god!
I mean, it's Overwatch. It's the first game I really got into esports with. It's the most. It kickstarted a genre of like hero shooters. It seamlessly meshed MOBA mechanics with FPS mechanics. I mean, the character design rivals literally only TF2. It is TF2 and Overwatch are the best character design in a video game I can think of. Like the fucking like never has Blizzard polish been so exquisitely shown as like a legitimate thing. The polish in Overwatch is fucking through the roof.
Game, right?
I mean, I'm very biased, but yeah, like
even I
World of Warcraft is like completely like it made them, and it's a massive cornerstone of the whole of like gaming history.
I can say
I think Overwatch similarly might be, and with Overwatch 2 coming around the corner, I'm confident to say Overwatch will be their biggest game ever.
I can say that, like, personally, I hate first-person shooters, which makes it incredible to say that Overwatch, in terms of its tanks and in terms of its defences before they went into like DPS like Torbjorn and Symmetra, it is an FPS game that has interested me, not only to the extent that I enjoy playing the game, but further, it is a game that I enjoy watching at a competitive level, which is something that for myself is relegated to like Age of Empires 2 and
That's
RTS.
fucking unique. Yeah, I'm the same.
It's
I can't
actually
watch
incredible.
esports, but Overwatch is amazing. Just to say, okay, I've spent about 1,000 hours in this game now, and I started playing Widowmaker almost exclusively. I've played tons of every single hero at this point, but yeah, it was Widowmaker for the first fucking 50 hours straight, literally straight, nothing else, and then Reinhardt and Winston, and then Lucio.
Winston, man.
Like those are three different like styles of gameplay that you'd be hard pressed to find more diverse play styles in three different games, let alone the same game in the same matches.
And I'd also
they managed
say
to come close to balancing all that shit all at once. I mean, it's ludicrous.
I'd say to an extent,
Hats
like,
off.
you know, I would always define attack and defense heroes as separate entities because I think they play so differently.
Jeff Kaplan agrees with you.
But
the director of the game agrees with you.
But I will say that when you get to like when you compare Lucio to Mercy, like there's no comparison, is there? There's no comparison.
Different.
It's
but
amazing how well they
Like,
balance completely incomparable things.
I wouldn't play Lucio as much as I love playing support. Mercy's my favourite hero. Despite the fact they do the same role.
She's the most popular hero in the game. Bizarrely.
they're both supports, but
And they play so fucking differently.
yeah.
Yeah. And like, man, I could talk about Overwatch design for a very, very long time. It's ridiculous. Also, one last thing, the netcode. Piss on my whole face, Jeremy. I've played Overwatch playably in Australia. I was on a Discord server with Australians playing, and I had like
fighting game should
80
introduce
ping?
rollback netcode.
literally like 80 ping. It was fucking playable. They were on the other side of the world to me. I mean, if that doesn't tell, like, what a game. Goddamn.
Okay.
I rest my face.
The Force Awakens. It's a tough battle, but it is that's a choice. That's a choice. I have to say, that's a choice.
I
But
literally never played
tell
it.
me
Star
more.
Wars: The Force Unleashed was the single greatest PlayStation 2 Star Wars original story game I've ever played. It followed on from it took place. I can't remember if it was sometime around the beginning of just before Episode 4. I'm pretty sure. Basically, Darth Vader has been sent out by Palpatine to go and oppress a bunch of different planets and bring them all under the Galactic Empire's rule. Goes to one planet. So you start off as Vader. You fight off this Jedi. It's all like the executing Order 66 type thing, killing all the Jedi. Jedi's got a son. Darth Vader takes the son, raises it as his own, trains him up. You then play as him going around killing all the remaining Jedi and Republic leaders, and you learn all of like the Force lightning, Force push, and it is incredible. Like the mechanics, the storytelling, and because by the end of it, you end up sort of the guy you play as ends up, I think he's called Starkiller, which is where Starkiller Base comes from in the movie, and he ends up sort of becoming a kind of renegade. He does things for himself because Palpatine orders Vader to kill him, because obviously the rule of two is a thing, and there's not meant to be another Padawan type, but Vader can't bring himself to do it. You go on the run, you start fighting Sith people and Empire people. It's incredible. It was one of the best PlayStation 2 games I've ever played.
So they got released on the Wii. There's a Force Awakens 2.
Yeah, they did.
This is the Force Unleashed, not the Force Awakens.
Yeah, the Force Unleashed.
Because the Force Awakens would have come out in like is a bad film, and the game would have come out in like 2015. This came out in like 2008.
So like I played it on the Wii, and the Force mechanics in it, like with the Wii remote, you got to push people, or like you went like this to choke people. Yeah. It's absolutely incredible on the Wii. It is, I would say, like in The Mandalorian, they've been introducing a lot of the Clone Wars. I wouldn't be surprised if they introduced stuff from the Force Unleashed because it was that well received.
Well, this got scrapped and shoved into the extended universe and is no longer canon within the Disney universe.
Then again,
so
in the first episode of The Mandalorian,
they can use it.
True.
And it will become its own new thing in The Mandalorian, or like in the future Star Wars universe. But this as a game and a story was a lot of mine you're going to see are very story based. I
had Star Wars Revenge of the Sith for PlayStation 2. It was a fighting game with Jedi. You got a load of different moves of each Jedi. I think the gameplay system for that fighting game had less options than the Force Unleashed. That's how good the Force Unleashed was. Which fighting games is all about options.
You could hotkey just so many different moves. So each fight or each playthrough, you could have just a completely different combination of moves that you're making.
Wow. Just
based on how you, like, which powers you decided to utilize in each fight. Yeah. It's very good. Very, very good.
So, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 is the best Tony Hawk game to be released. And I know we've just had a remake of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 come out, but let me get into the details. You can make your own skater. It has the best soundtrack out of any of the Tony Hawk games. Not only that, but it's a Tony Hawk game which has built on every single building block that the first 3 games have made, and it perfects it before Tony Hawk 5 fucking annihilates everything that made it good. The maps are so diverse. Do you want to do a fucking ollie and then grind your way onto the top of Big Ben? You can fucking do that. Not only that, but the amount of modes in there, such as playing horse against other people locally. You know the game where it's like you need to get a certain amount of things, or you get a H or an O and an R, and when you get the whole word horse, they can call you a horse. That's an implementation into the game. Not only that, but it has a level editor where you're able to put stuff in there. One of the level editor's items is a reference to a Vietnam tactic, where there's a spike yes, which you might have seen from the Brian David Gilbert video. But overall, the game is just, I'd say, like, when we go back to, and I don't want to larp onto this particular game because somebody put it as a number 10, but
I was going to say,
when
this
you get
is
to
not SSX on tour.
when
it's
you get
not
to
getting my
SSX
vote.
on tour, it was very hard to understand the rules, and that's just because you're heading straight down. You don't have time to kind of walk around, explore, understand the mechanics because you're going straight into the game. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, they put you into open worlds. If you want to glide around somewhere, do an ollie and then smash into the window of an office building, you can fucking do that in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. And then when people are watching you, you can do a heel flip and then balance on your board, and whilst they all watch and scream whilst you run in, and you can skate out, jump on, go down an elephant, fly up to the giraffe's head, and then flip off. You can go to the pier and then grind over the ocean through a cave and then back out. There's so much in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 that you can do. It's incredible that it is. I don't want to dress it up. It is a skateboarding game. It is a game about skateboarding. Skateboarding is something that maybe a good group of people really likes, but it's not a wide appeal to skateboarding. Let's be honest. This game didn't need to be this good. Has no right to be this good. There's no right to be this satisfying. It's no right. It has a roster of 64 different skaters. Apart from Tony Hawk, I don't know who the fuck these people are.
64?
I don't know who these people are. But it doesn't matter. Because the roster doesn't matter. Because the maps and the fact that you can create maps and you can download maps on the internet and play on those maps and you can do challenges and there's like 20 different game modes to do on each world map. It is ridiculous how much fun. It's like Jetscape Radio is a Sega game where you do graffiti in the future whilst on roller skates. And the whole game is based around doing graffiti, having police chase you. In Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, that's just one of 20 game modes. That game's whole gimmick is one game mode in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. It didn't need to be this good. It didn't need to have this much time put into it. It didn't have down so much detail of so many telephone wires you can jump onto and ski. You didn't need to put down so many ramps so you can get anywhere. As long as you was good enough at the game, you could get anywhere in that game. You can get on top of the buildings if you were good enough at the game. It didn't need to be that good. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 didn't need to be as good as it was. Let's vote on which ones to go through.
Okay.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 votes.
I'm not a skater boy.
It's tough. This is a tough
I'm not a
one
skater
for me.
boy.
Star Wars: The Force Unleashed.
I mean, it sounds goddamn good. I don't know what to say.
It's a good game.
Overwatch.
It's a very good game. Gotta give it to Overwatch.
It has to be Overwatch.
It deserves some respect, I feel.
Yes.
Overwatch, like...
It gets a lot of shit as well, actually. Overwatch gets a surprising amount of shit. And I'm right, though, it's got some problems. But you know what? That's a game. They made a game.
Yeah.
Pretty good game.
Yeah. I wasn't surprised when Overwatch was on there. I was like, that's gonna win. Now, guys, we didn't agree on the first three, but I think as we get closer, we are going to start agreeing
We
on
have all
stuff,
had one each as well now. Like,
which I think is quite nice. I
feels
think
fair.
we're making a balanced list here.
Also, so far, those are 3 very historically acclaimed games.
this is where it all gets pear-shaped for me.
Oh my fucking god, guys!
I don't know what I'm voting for. Fuck. I'm glad that we
What's
have.
going
I'm
on?
glad we're gonna have a small franchise at number 7.
Oh, no, they get smaller. My games get smaller and smaller and smaller. I
This
put
is
them
incredible.
generic shit lower down.
So I think it's me first because I had Tekken 5 first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, no. It was
No, I
Matt
think
first. It's
me
Matt first.
now.
Is it
It's
Matt
Matt
first?
first.
Did you do SSX
He said
Tour
us.
first?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, because you did Kingdom Hearts first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the moment, I don't think I've gone last, but it's fine. Ace of Spades. This is my only online game in my top 10 list. It is a multiplayer game. It is first-person
Before you
shooter.
start, when you say Ace of Spades, are you talking about when it went onto Steam?
No,
Or when it wasn't?
before it went onto Steam, because the
That's-
Steam game.
I know the story of this game.
I bought the game. This is where this is why I couldn't put it any higher on the list, because
Yeah.
when they released it on Steam, it was terrible, and I couldn't play the game because, well, for one thing, I couldn't play the game. I had a laptop. The game, when I downloaded it, was bugged and never opened properly. My mate, who
Jesus
had
Christ.
a pretty high-end PC at the time, he'd spent a fair bit of money. It was about 13 or 14 years old, and he'd spent over £2,000 on his computer.
At 13, that's
yeah.
insane.
And he was on a server and had 1,300 ping. It was like his internet must have been diabolical,
Yikes.
or just the servers were trash. He walked around the same corner
God damn.
15 times, and the graphics on his PC, is like, they just looked shit. It didn't. So went back to the, I believe the website was called buildandshoot.com, I think it was called, and it was basically just Minecraft kind of square blocks style playing around, but with guns, and you had the choice between a rifle, an SMG, or a sniper rifle, or a shotgun, maybe.
It was sniper.
And you
It
had
was sniper,
grenades.
'cause I used a sniper.
And you had a spade, so you could dig and build, and like you pick up your blocks.
Yeah, it was
build.
like trench warfare, wasn't it?
It was trench warfare, and I used to play it all the time after school with my mates. We used to like get on FaceTime together, because this was before the days of Discord.
Yeah.
Literally, team up, join the servers, and like I remember some of the maps were huge. Some of them were absolutely enormous, and like you could, it was almost entirely underground, or you could dig your way all the way up to the top, run across the surface, and dive down. And it was like, I think there was like a capture the flag type element to it, or there were like a couple of different game modes on the different servers. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I this is one of those games that I just missed. I never played it.
Ace of
I
Spades.
know I would have played the fuck out of this game.
Ace of Spades was. So I had a period where I went onto MMORPG.com, I think. I don't know whether the game address has changed. And it was a website full of online games. So we had a tank game where you could build your own tank and play around. There's another one game where you had a load of people in the lobby and you were pigeons and you were shitting on people. And you could shit on each other if you were very good at the game. Ace of Spades was something that was asked to go onto the website, but said it was made by another developer, because I think the people who made that website only had games that were made by themselves. So we tried it out, and it was fuck, man, fuck. I can't describe. The fact that Matt said that it was not on Steam puts it up my estimations, because it was
the
shit.
second
Yeah,
game,
'cause
I had
so-
such high hopes for it going onto Steam, because I thought
They did
they're
did
gonna make it,
some mad shit
They
with
brought
it.
in like engineers and like
They gave it
flyers,
jetpacks.
and they did.
That was what killed it,
I've-
because
well,
it was
I've-
trench warfare and you can now fly.
I mean, like Yeah,
GG.
the flying guy was what ruined it. But like,
Apparently, that's what completely killed it.
yeah, the engineers were really good. Some of the new maps that they designed for it looked really good. I had so much high hopes for it. I thought it looked really good, apart from the flying guy. And then,
Yeah.
because literally you could pop someone from
It's like,
across the fucking map with a sniper.
Well, it's like
and
with
they'd be dead instantly. And
with Battlefront 2, the
you could
jetpack
start-
had a slow recharge and it was big because jetpacks are powerful, and they just didn't realise it.
But not only did they fuck it up with some of the design aspects, the game itself didn't run very well, like
Yeah,
the Steam
that's a bad
version.
point.
But the online browser game was it was sublime.
I can
Many
already
hours in that
say,
game.
I can look at both of you and I can tell that out of Ace of Spades and Subnautica, neither of you are going to have played Danganronpa B3.
Yeah, no, I've heard of it.
I've
What
heard
the
of
fuck
it.
is it? Remind me.
So, yeah, go on.
Is it anime-esque?
It's very anime.
Yeah,
Kind of.
yeah.
So, do you guys know the Ace Attorney series?
Yes.
Yes.
Phoenix
Yes.
Wright.
So Ace Attorney is made by Capcom, the people who made Monster Hunter, Resident Evil, one of the best video game developers of all time. It's a visual novel where you play as a lawyer who is investigating murders. You have to go around a map, point and click style, talk to people, get evidence. Then in the room you have all the evidence, all of the snippets of what people said. And whilst they're talking in the courtroom, you have to say objection, or you pop in the information which contradicts eyewitness reports of what the prosecution is saying and what the defendant is saying in order to make your case. What Ace Attorney does is it scrapes on the surface of an unfounded genre. A genre of court cases, espionage, all that jazz. Danganronpa is not just a realization, but I believe it to be instantly the best possible case for that kind of game. Danganronpa has 3 games. Danganronpa 1, Danganronpa 2, and Danganronpa V5. Which I have to say V3, it's not V5, V3, because it's not technically Danganronpa 3, which you'd have to play the game in order to find out. Danganronpa 1, you are a bunch of gifted students which go to a school. You are the ultimate in one specific thing. Some people, I am the ultimate gang leader, I am the ultimate mathematician, I am the ultimate computer scientist. You are the ultimate unlucky person. When you arrive in this academy, you have a blank out, and then the academy is filled by bars, chains, and no look in the outside world. Only the people that you are staying there with. Then you come across a small puffy teddy bear called Nino Kuma. And he says there are 2 ways to get out of the school. 1, you are one of the 2 people to live until the very end. Number 2, you murder a fellow person who is trapped in here and you get away with the murder. Everyone else dies, but you go on to freedom. There are 11 other people in your school. One by one, people get murdered. Before somebody gets murdered, there is a court case to figure out who murdered them. If you get it wrong, everyone dies. If you get it right, they die and you move on to the next round. It is the epitome of what Ace Attorney is trying to be. There are 3 games in this franchise and they are absolutely phenomenal. They are amazing. At every single lunchtime or evening, you can get to know characters where you get to know their personality traits, and therefore if they end up being a murderer later on in the game, you can figure out that that's probably going to be the way that they do it. When somebody is murdered, you get time to look around the death scene, look at the murder weapon, look at the death scene, look at the rooms around, see if anything else connects into it. One murder that I saw ended up with somebody from the gymnasium on the 3rd floor made a zip line across the room, zoomed down into the swimming pool, chopped off their heads, and then undid the zip line and hid it and burnt it outside round the back. And that character who did that murder is one of the most morally just characters in the entire game. And that is murder number 2 out of 6 in that game. It is absolutely incredible. Danganronpa 3 Danganronpa V3 is on top of just that setup of an absolutely amazing visual novel game. Is when Danganronpa 1 came out, the producer of the game said, "This is a game that I don't think anyone else has done before, and I want to do." Danganronpa 2 was a game which was in response to people want more of this game, I'm going to give them a sequel to the good game. Danganronpa 3 is a warning to say that I will make a third game in this franchise because the people who publish this game demand it. But the story that I'm going to build around it is of fan demand, and how, if you keep asking for me for this type of game, I'm going to burn myself out, and this game is eventually going to turn into a bad franchise. And maybe if we just leave it at 1, 2, and 3, these games can stand the test of time. And you don't realise that until the second half, but the entire story is about how the main villain of the franchise isn't what they say despair versus hope, but it's actually the people who want to see this conflict of despair versus hope see an eventual winner on either one or either side. And this is one of the best meta commentaries, not in gaming, but in media. The third game changes protagonists 3 times for different reasons. I recommend the game without a walkthrough and just to play it blind, because it is fundamentally the best that the visual game genre has to offer. And if you play Danganronpa, I'm sorry to anyone else who likes visual novel games, but you do not need to play another visual novel. And if you are itching for more in the same genre, the Ace Attorney franchise is the only one you can go to, because it's the only thing close.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut.
And that's all I have to say on Danganronpa.
We still need to
I
hear
might have to
Jamie.
edit that one down. Yikes.
Subnautica.
Good luck.
Okay. So, I don't know how much do either of you know about Subnautica?
I
Underwater
played a
collecting
good
fish.
amount.
Okay. That's a very different, and I like it. Subnautica is... So I love me a good survival game. I've played an awful lot of survival games. I've never really loved any particular survival game, except for Subnautica. Basically. It's by far the best. It is the only... one of the very select few survival games that can tell a convincing story whilst being a legitimately like tense and dangerous and exciting survival game. It's beautiful through and through the entire way. Yeah. Every single biome, every single area is gorgeous. It is the only game I've ever seen to properly utilize procedural generation in a survival map. The game is set in its like biomes. They're all in the same places. They will always be there. There is light procedural generation used to keep the game fresh, very sparingly, very cleverly. The level of detail in the game is amazing. The story twists and turns in ways that will shit you the fuck up, and you will never see coming. Like, I got to where I haven't finished this game. I haven't finished this game. I got to a point where I thought, like, oh, okay, this must be like, damn, okay. This feels like, oh my fucking god. What? Like, that happens multiple times. Like, you just, it just plays with your fucking fears. I have a pretty crippling fear of, like, the deep ocean. This fucking game, man. It fucks you the fuck. There are not many games that are quite... I played Resident Evil 7. I've played a couple. I haven't played many horror games. This game is the scariest game I've ever played. It just... Because you live in this world. You are just here in this alien underwater planet, and you just fucking have to deal with it. You know there's a thing 500 meters down there that you can see it because it's fucking glowing, and every now and then you can hear a scream. And also you know that there's like a piece of fucking technology you really goddamn need that's also down there, and you just have to fucking stomach it and plunge. And like it is... I've never experienced such a succinct amalgamation of storytelling that is woven into the actual like world around you, combined with really, really rock solid survival elements. Like, it iterates on the survival genre in very, very, very interesting ways, and many ways that I have yet to see accomplished. it just incorporates so many different things, all so succinctly, and like it doesn't feel the need to show off any in particular any single thing. It just lets the world speak for itself. There's very little storytelling. It really just gives you what it needs, and you just move on. It's fucking incredible. It's a perfect example of show don't tell, and I recommend anyone should play.
Yeah, I've played a brief bit of it, but not like I can definitely say it is a beautiful game to look at.
Yeah,
I've not played enough to really it encountered much of the sort of storytelling element, or the and like only a few of like the survival elements have started to take play or have an effect in what I've played. But regardless, it is what appears to be a very, very, very good game.
It does an incredible job of like dropping you in and then building slowly on both the story elements and the like survival mechanics, and increasing in its like complication, and it has an amazing. It takes you from shallow, beautiful coral reefs, almost no danger whatsoever, to fucking incredible depths, literally and narratively, and an immense amount of complication and survival, kind of like engineering. It goes from 0 to 1,000, and it does so keeping you on the fucking edge of your seat, shitting your pants the whole way.
So
incredible game.
3 games.
Right.
Danganronpa V3.
I've got to give it. You sold us. I'm sorry.
You just sold it.
You really did.
Honestly, I think in terms of podcasting, I don't need to vote now, which is great because I couldn't decide between those 2 games. That was fucking.
I'm very interested. Like, we should. Can you highlight the runner-up every time?
I think.
Because I think that would be interesting.
I think Subnautica has to be the runner-up, just because,
that's fair.
As Matt said, if Ace of Spades stayed at its level of quality as it was before it went to Steam, it would win. But it is like I think like if you haven't played it, I'm so happy that I've got you guys. I wouldn't like in terms of podcasting. I think we could. I own all 3 Danganronpa games, so we could play it on the channel. I don't mind doing that. Number 6.
That it's.
Okay. I've put a controversial choice down for number 6, but I put down Danganronpa as a controversial choice. So
I can't remember what I put as my next one.
Well, you're about to find out.
Oh,
what a lineup, boys!
Oh no!
It's me
it's
first,
Nightfire.
I think.
It's fucking Nightfire.
007 Nightfire, boys. I've dropped the bomb.
I thought that was a game.
007 Nightfire.
But...
Online on the internet, 007 GoldenEye is the best game for. Bullshit.
Nonsense.
I've played GoldenEye. I've played Nightfire. Let's not kid ourselves, boys. 007 Nightfire is the best 007 game ever made. Not only that, if you remember earlier, I said Destroy All Humans 2 is the best third-person shooter I've ever played. I have played every single COD game. I have played Doom and Doom Eternal. 007 Nightfire is the best first-person shooter I have ever fucking played. And if anyone wants to disagree with me,
the same one I've played.
they can fuck right. Is it on the PlayStation 2?
Yes, it's a platinum game. Was it the one with a very extensive multiplayer version?
There was a
Like
co-op
offline
multiplayer, offline
With
multiplayer
AI.
co-op. You could have up
with
to
like cloak
4
and dagger,
players,
all sorts of different styles,
all
of
sorts of
guns
different people, all sorts of different styles. Was the samurai gun the laser beam that you had to charge up to 100%? It was like a it is
from the
that,
space mission. Yes,
Yes, it's
and there's
exactly,
the heat-seeking gun, and the fucking scar. Oh man, yeah. And there's a submarine map.
And if you play as Oddjob, you get the hat on the multiplayer.
I don't think I've played as odd. Yeah, I think I know this. Yeah,
Oddjob's
007 Nightfire
in the entire franchise.
brings 007
Such a
Nightfire brings
Batman villain.
brings most of the villains from 007 franchise to play. You can play as most of the Bonds, but the main Bond is Pierce Brosnan. There is a campaign mode. There's also multiple maps. I would say these maps, these FPS maps, are the best first-person shooter maps of any game. There is one level where there is a castle at the very north of the map. There is a ski lift that goes to and from that area to the bottom of the cliff. In the multiplayer mode, you can go onto that ski lift, go down and shoot at the people below you. You can play up to 4 players. You have over 60 unlockable characters. I'm just going to say, the first single player mode, very good. You get to fight. It's a typical James Bond story, but in a video game format. But that's not why I've put this game here. I put this game here because of the multiplayer modes. It is absolutely phenomenal. You get the samurai gun, which is a laser beam gun you can do. You have stuff from ski lifts going across empty vastness of space or across a snowy tundra, all the way to a submarine level where there is water underneath, to and from, where you can swim through, go into the submarine all around, and it goes through every single 007 game possible with most of the characters from 007 mythos up to that point. 007 Nightfire is a licensed game. Let's not beat around the bush. Like GoldenEye, it is a game paid for by a studio in order to make a game to accompany a movie. However, 007 Nightfire stands as a pinnacle example of what to do right with a licensed game. It doesn't do anything fancy. It doesn't do anything crazy. What it does do, it has a variety of weapons for many people, including a laser pistol. Which, if you have a gun game with a laser pistol, one where you can just charge it up to 100% and do a massive laser beam ultra across the stage, like, or blowing up, or ski lifts, or whatever. It's the main fact that the maps are so interactive and the weapons are so varied that 007 Nightfire is added at number 6 of this list. Because, fuck me.
I debated putting this on the list.
Yes.
I couldn't remember specifically which game it was. I just remembered playing.
I think 007 Nightfire
game on PS2.
Phenomenal name. I'm just worried about its competition because I played both of these games and fuck. That's a hard choice, man.
So I think it's my turn to go second.
Yes, it's your turn to go second. Then I'll go.
Oh yeah, it's Lego games, isn't it? Like, we all played them. We all loved them.
Yeah.
They're fucking Lego games. Not a single word was uttered in most of those entire games, and yet they are some of the funniest and most interesting and most characterful games you will ever play.
That was one of my big pet peeves with some of the later Lego games. Was when
They started
adding voices,
and it felt very weird.
The only reason they did it was because it happened right around the time the Lego movie came out, and I'm pretty sure. And I mean, that's a phenomenal movie. It's one of my favourite movies of all time, but it kind of ruined the games.
I do have a question for Jamie.
Yeah.
There are multiple Star Wars Lego games.
The original one.
The
original trilogy.
The oldest, the very first game is the best one, I think. Just for like, there are like, so it's close runners up. The Batman one. Wow, like just fucking wow, incredible. Like the way that they designed this game so that you could play through them as Batman the first time and then as any villain the second time.
You had
and it worked so well.
It was the level, but
it was like flipped. It was like, fucking genius.
It was like kind of a prequel to every single level.
Yeah,
just playing as the villains.
It was so clever, and it was so well. Like like Batman is not the coolest thing about Batman. It's the villains, so they recognised that. But also, they made Batman and Robin, like using the suits. They made Batman and Robin like actually interesting to play, and they made them really interesting different suits and shit. Like, what a fucking genius, really good. But the original Star Wars game just.
It started.
They're better than the movies, maybe. Literally better than the movies. Like more fun. It's more fucking fun.
I think those games are more what got me into Star Wars. Like it made me want to go back and watch the movies.
Genuinely,
and really dive into the world of Star Wars.
Yes, absolutely. Like, I just vividly remember the fucking first opening scene of Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan running down the I don't remember where it is. I just remember
the
droids.
negotiations bit, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That boring nonsense in the film was one of the most memorable video gaming moments of my life.
So can
I mean,
I just do a
that's just
correction
everything you need to
for
know.
any audio listeners? So when
What?
Jamie earlier said this is the first Lego game, it's actually incorrect. This is the second Lego
Is it
game.
not?
If you said Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan, you're talking about the complete saga, which has all 6 games in it.
No, that's not true.
No. The
That's not
original
true.
video game is 1, 2, and 3.
1 to
the
3,
original
yeah.
trilogy came out afterwards, which was Lego Star
Which
Wars
was
2.
this, yeah. Yeah,
And-
I was gonna say, I was pretty sure that was the case.
Because the main menu bit is in Dexter's Cafe. Dexter's
Yes.
Cafe thing, and
Whatever his fucking name is, yeah.
it's fucking great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't know
And
that.
so I can't. So they did the first film, which the first one, which was the first trilogy. The second one was the second trilogy, and the third game was all of them. I think.
Yeah,
So they
third
brought
game
out
was
the
all of them.
complete
That's the
saga.
one that I played. Complete saga.
That's the third game.
Don't
Yeah.
worry, boys. I've got more for you coming later in my list.
So yes, Lego Star Wars specifically, but the Lego games they have no right. They have no right to be as good as they are.
Games absolutely smashed
It's
it out the park.
ridiculous. I don't know. I can't name you a single other game like they've done ever other than Lego games. But my fucking lord, are they incredible?
They're all like, even, I mean, the Indiana Jones ones I remember playing. They were so fun as well. 'Cause
Wow,
What I
man.
love about it is everyone I've ever spoken to about Lego games has like the original Star Wars ones and then like their own favourite one. It's incredible how many there are. And like mine is the Marvel, the first Marvel
there's a
games
Marvel one,
were
there's the
really
Harry
good.
Potter one, there's the Lego
Yeah,
Batman
there's
ones.
Pirates of the Caribbean. There's like it's insane the variety, and they're all like someone's favorite,
Yeah.
which is rare. Like Lego games.
Okay, so you have a tough competition, Matt, but you
Yeah.
brought Professor Layton to the
Professor
table,
Layton.
so it's
specifically
you could
the second
snitch
one.
this.
Because the second one is a better story than the first one, I would argue. Probably the best one in the entire franchise. Well, it is the best one in the entire franchise. Because, yes, the first one set the scene of, look, this is a puzzle game where we solve puzzles. How do we make it more, like, what's the classic thing to do? We bring in a detective. Not only is that detective, like, fun to watch and is a brilliantly written character. He's got a great little sidekick. There's all this stuff with Flora going on in the first one that tells like this really. It's just a really nice story. The first game, and then the second game just sort of brings in elements from the first game. It's kind of the same game again, but with a brand new story. It is much better. It's a longer game. I just remember playing that on the DS every time I went on holiday, whenever we were travelling in the car, replaying the shit out of those games to just solve every single puzzle, spending hours and hours just sitting there and just running around, meeting all these, because it was a perfect mix of really interesting, not necessarily the easiest in the world to solve for like the sort of age demographic they were going for, puzzles, along with a wonderful little story that's being told with some really, really interesting characters and fun characters. Like, there was fucking Granny What's-Her-Face who would save the puzzles that you missed. And there was the fucking gatekeeper dude with the fucking nose. There was the gnome kid who, like, lived in the sewers. You had the fucking villain who was, like, the villain who would, like, sneak around, who was, like, Layton's nemesis, who was just the most over-the-top cartoon villain I've ever seen in a video game. Oh, and then like it goes on to make another 3 games that act as a prequel series to the original trilogy, and they made a movie that is very, very good. There's only like
I have no idea about
So-
any of this.
there's a movie.
I've never played a single one.
There's a crossover game with Professor Layton
I
with
was never a
Ace
Nintendo kid.
Attorney.
I've never played. I've never had Nintendo
It's-
games.
it's not
I've
Nintendo.
heard.
It's not
It's
Nintendo.
Is it not?
It's level 5.
Yeah.
What's level 5?
They made
No, I
Yano
mean like it's on
Kuni
DS and shit. Like I never owned a
It's
Nintendo
on DS.
They made a lot
console.
of
I was never Nintendo kid.
yeah.
I had PS2, PS3, PC. That's been
And they made a lot
my
of
console life.
They're between Sony and Nintendo a lot. They haven't made a lot of Xbox or PC
Right.
games.
I think the great thing about this game is a lot of the games we've had so far are very sort of like the high focus. Well, maybe not so much
Yes.
Subnautica, but a lot of these are like you need to focus, whereas this
Yeah.
is a more take a step back, have a bit of a chill,
Yeah.
have a cup of tea or like a drink, and solve some puzzles and just
Yeah.
enjoy a story that's going on. And, like you're solving the mystery through puzzle solving. It's a perfect combination.
We have votes time. So, who votes for Lego Star Wars?
This is a tough one because I have another Lego on my list further up. But I'm more than happy to give it to it now on the off chance that Lego Star Wars
You get
will
up
later on
confused
as
with
well.
Right, this you have the choice here. We'll take them all individually, I think. Like each individual choice.
I
should
have
face
to vote
value.
for the
Yeah, exactly.
Legos.
Yeah.
Nightfire. It's not a game I've really played. It sounds very, very good. It's got to be Lego. It's got to be Lego.
There we go.
I would have voted for Nightfire. Not that I don't really want to play the Professor Layton games, but I just
It is.
it's,
I
again,
think it's unfortunate.
an awful lot of
it's against
memories.
a Lego game. Otherwise, probably would have voted for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Lego Star Wars. It's like it makes sense at sixth place. I think it's
Yeah, I mean, I'd be fascinated to take a second pass at my top 10, and like I don't think it would be the same. I think I rushed it. I think I would have changed Crash Tag Team to Crash Titans because thinking about it, I did enjoy that game more. And I don't know which ones of these would stay on the top 10, but it's a reasonably accurate.
I know
like,
number 5.
memory.
This is gonna tear Jamie's heart apart.
Oh God. Interesting.
Interesting.
I mean, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Like, I know how many fucking games you've played. Like, it's
Yeah, I'm not.
It should be at least top 5 for anyone who plays it. Pretty much. Like, I'm not one of those people who's like super militant about what games should be enjoyed.
Yeah.
But like, Witcher 3 should be respected.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
So
It should be respected.
I think Matt goes last.
I just went last. So
You just went
yeah.
last.
Is
I
it,
went
He goes first.
is it me
second
first?
last time.
Or is it
You go first. Chris goes second. I go last.
Okay.
Okay. So you
I
want
think.
you want me to sell you Madagascar right now?
Yeah.
I'm
Boy,
fascinated.
howdy, was that tough? That was honestly, possibly.
This is 5th. I'm amazed.
That was possibly, honestly, my favourite game on the PS2. Not only did it had a brilliant retelling of the movie. The level design.
You've killed Chris.
I mean, I have to say, I really like the game, but the fact that you went as far to say it's the best game on
The best on
It's my
PS2.
favourite.
Like,
It was my
we've been
favourite
choosing
game on the
between, like,
PS2.
most of the games on our top 10 list so far have been PS2.
Yeah,
And
why is
I'm
this-
sure most of them ahead of this will be PS2.
Against Star Wars Battlefront 2.
This game's better. I stand by it. I enjoyed this game so much
It's a good
more.
game. It's a good game.
Because the mechanics in the game were really well built. The storytelling of the retelling of the movie was really good. Plus,
What style of game is this? Like, I have no idea.
it was everything. You had So like the first
It
mission
was
is like Marty
everything.
sneaking out of the zoo. So it's like Metal Gear Solid, sneaking, avoiding guards and lights. There's fucking the Penguins mission, which is the single best mission in the fucking
I can
game, where
believe
they
that,
take over
without
a
a doubt.
submarine.
Yep.
There's the bits where
Smart wave,
you
boys.
then get to Madagascar and you meet the lemurs, and you go and have a party in the jungle, and you bounce around on bouncy trees, and you have to like collect like coin things, and you go down like mudslides to collect food for the party. There's then the level where Alex goes crazy and starts like chasing after anything that moves. Plus, as well as all of that, like as well as playing through the entire movie, you also had mini golf and shuffleboard in those games that were some of the best little games to play with your friends. Just like the golf was really well designed. It worked as a golf game within the game, and it was just a side mini game. And the shuffleboard one as well was like, but shuffleboard, you're like just trying to get your rubber ring to the end of the board. That one was hard. That was hard as a kid.
It was.
Because you would always overshoot, and you'd just knock everything off, and the winner would win by getting one on the last person, just knocking everybody else's off and getting one on right at the end, and they'd win by 1 point, and that'll be the only point that anyone scored. But boy, was that a fucking incredible game. I loved it. I loved that game.
I honestly can't get over that saying this is the best PlayStation
Best
2
PS2
game ever
It's
made.
the best. I'm trying to very seriously think like how much of because undeniably PlayStation 2 is the best era of gaming.
Yeah.
However, how much of that is nostalgia?
No, it's the single most.
I know that like because obviously
console.
we're of a generation like PS2 was like both very good and also aligned perfectly for our nostalgia like nerves to be triggered. But like I know that a lot of different generations of people do say that these are some of the best games in the world.
It's the highest rated console of all
Yeah.
time. It is.
Yeah,
It has sold
like-
the most number of consoles, and presumably therefore the most number of video games sold on a generation. It is hands down the best console in the best era.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Switch
Like,
is catching up,
top.
but
It's-
it's not there
on
yet.
its fucking
So.
crown, on its fucking throne, as the best game of all time. Fight me.
It speaks to just how good it was that so many of our favorite games were licensed games, which have like the worst tarnishing now. Like if you think of a modern licensed game, you think of some dog shit on mobile games.
Fucking yeah.
Like, but unironically, there are several that are like legitimately ridiculously well made games. They're just fucking some like Shrek 2 or some bullshit.
So
like
let's
it's unbelievable.
let's now compare Madagascar the game to The Witcher 3. I don't even know where to begin with this. It's The Witcher 3. I mean, first off, it's it is a game that I played over this summer fully because I got halfway through and then let's just say I lost the copy of my game, so I had to replay from the
I
beginning.
remember this.
I'm in
Wait,
the
was
midst
it you or
of
Jake that-
100% completing
Oh no,
the game.
that was Jake.
The Witcher 3 is the reason why Skyrim isn't on my list anywhere. It's just absolutely
100% agree with that.
it's a fact that like I have played 2 CD Projekt Red games. I'm very excited about Cyberpunk, which by the time this podcast comes out I will have played and I will have enjoyed because it's a fact that like CD Projekt Red has been a very ambitious company, and their first 2 games, Witcher 2, I have played a bit of. I think they are trying to achieve more than they have the funding for. But at The Witcher 3, they have the funding in order to achieve their goals.
I don't know what happened.
It is.
I don't know what happened.
You can see in The Witcher 1 and 2 that the building blocks are there. But
Yeah.
at The Witcher 3, it all comes together. I will say that if you are looking for a story experience, do not play the penultimate mission. The final mission is alright, but the penultimate mission.
Wait,
is
the
a bit...
penultimate mission.
I just think like,
sum it
unless
up
you're
in, like,
very
one
invested
word
in the
for me.
characters, it
I
might
can't
feel
remember.
a bit too. But if you go straight onto Blood and Wine, that is the best story in any video game I have played. Fucking hell.
Yep. Yep.
The Witcher 3
Blood and Wine
is
the best video game in the world.
fundamentally the best open world game I've played. The only thing it lacks is Breath of the Wild's chemistry engine, which allows it to interact with the whole world. But with The Witcher, the urban environments are entertaining, the dungeons are thoroughly interesting, all of the quests I feel invested in, even the momentary Monster Slayer quests all have investigations and twists and such, just like the books that they are based on. They feel like complex stories being told. If you chose Triss, you can suck my dick. Jennifer is the obvious choice. Let's just get it out there. I'm just going to say that right now before we go any further. The Witcher 3 has an ingenious combat engine, I feel, where, yes, you can just try and slice and parry things, but it'll take a while. But your signs allow you to change the combat in ways that impact you, and in terms of how you want to develop through the game, there are 3 different perk trees you can go down where you can upgrade them individually. The DLC is the best value for money DLC, and they are, as somebody who doesn't like DLC personally, The Witcher 3 is the type of DLC I can highly recommend to anyone to pay, because they legitimize the cost that they are. It is a great game to explore a world that you haven't experienced before, and I would say that if you are going to play The Witcher 3 and you are not sure on the game itself, I would actually say that if you were to only play one part of the game, it would have to be the DLC Blood and Wine, because it is it's better than the main story. It's about vampires, if that interests you, but it is legitimately.
I hate vampires. It's my favourite game in the world.
It's phenomenal. I cannot say it any further, but it's The Witcher 3. And
yeah, I hate to be a broken record, and I'm about to be literally a broken record, because I'm going to be mentioning it in a minute. Now, right, before we continue, this is a point, like, we should talk about the rules of this particular endeavour. How's it work if the game is literally popping up? Because Matt has a problem where, like, it's the same franchise, but it's popping up again. This is literally the same game. What are we supposed to do about that? Because Matt, when you're voting for this, you have a choice between putting Witcher at 5 or putting Witcher at, I can't remember, but
well, it depends on what else other people
top 3 at
for.
least.
I think it is, you can vote on it, and if it doesn't win, if it does win, second place will win this part. So we'll upgrade second place to the winner.
So if The Witcher wins later, second place here.
So temporarily we'll put Witcher 3 in 5th place, but it can upgrade.
I love that we're like temporarily we will.
Yeah,
I can't vote for it because I put it higher up, so I feel like I shouldn't even vote for it.
Well, I mean, I put Lego
that's the other thing.
And I still voted for it because.
Okay, fair.
But that's partial. Yeah. But the only that is slightly different because I've actually gone for a different game.
But like, like I have to vote for Witcher 3 then, because it's higher than the game that I put, because it's not. I put it higher than this game.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it isn't, like. No offense, Matthew. I'm sure Madagascar's a wonderful game.
It's the best game on the PlayStation 2.
The Witcher 3 literally is the single reason I can't play a single Western RPG ever again. It just invalidates
it's
the rest of the genre.
good.
It literally invalidates it. It's unbelievable. And
I think when I talk about
being such a broken record about it.
As I said, when I talk about the chemistry engine, there are elements of the chemistry engine like.
I'd love to try Breath of the Wild.
I think The Witcher 3 could be developed more.
Oh yeah,
because of what I
played a mod that enhanced the combat, and yeah, Jesus Christ, what one smashed Latvian lad did, who apparently did the entire thing hammered. and
Yeah.
coded this enormous
Anyway,
overhaul of the combat.
Talk to us
Exploded the
about
fucker.
Battlefront 2.
Star Wars Battlefront 2. We all played it.
Galactic Conquest.
That fucking
Galaxy
Galactic
Conquest.
Conquest, huh?
Galaxy Conquest, sorry. Yeah.
Yikey, crikey, motherfucker, what did they do right? Why has that never been replicated before? Like, I can't... It's been a long time. I can't remember every last little thing about that game, but same with the Star Wars Lego games. This is why kids of our generation like Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
It fucking sure as shit isn't the prequel films. And it equally isn't the actual original trilogy, because they're just too fucking dated at this point. Like, they're pretty good, but
these
they're not.
games came out.
Come on.
And then
It's
our
these
parents
games.
made us watch the original trilogy.
And we were like, oh, that seems interesting. Fuck, this game's fucking cool, huh? Like, it absolutely like everything. Like, Star Wars Battlefront 2 does so many things correctly. It's such a testament to the PlayStation 2 era that game is like, I will never play the EA modern Battlefront Star Wars games. I don't give a shit how many frames. I don't give a shit how many pixels. I don't give a shit how many polygons. Suck my big,
play Battlefront
meaty
2
video
online
gamer
on
cock.
Steam.
Go away. I will never touch your bollocks ever again. PlayStation 2 Star Wars Battlefront is all I ever need. Oh my lord. Every last thing about the maps are genius. The classes are genius. The fucking space combat, man. I devoted a ridiculous amount of time to that space combat and got rather good at it. The AI's incredible. Like, I'm sure if you go back to it, you'll find some silly bugs and bullshit. But for a game of its time, on the PlayStation 2, to cram as much like large-scale battles and do everything right, the story was incredible. Like the fucking 501 Stormtrooper Legion.
Yeah, the 501st Legion.
What a fucking story. I mean, like, just the vehicle combat, everything about it was ridiculously good.
Even the space combat.
The space combat is obscenely good. It's fucking stupid how much is in that video game.
You guys need to buy it on Steam, because the multiplayer still
I didn't realise it was
works
on Steam and like
it's on Steam. Multiplayer still works. All the servers are up.
I'm picking that up. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Super better droid. I don't want to get out.
So-
I mean, every single voice line I could like. Oh man, the nostalgia of this
start
fucking
on-
game. Jesus Christ.
Madagascar.
I wish I could vote for my own.
Star Wars
I
Battlefront
love how
2.
I love how proud you are.
I've got to get it. Star Wars Battlefront 2.
What? Star Wars Battlefront 2 then. It's Star Wars Battlefront 2.
I feel like
It doesn't matter that I would have clearly voted for the
the
rest.
thing
And
is,
then The
I feel
Witcher
like,
3,
I
yeah.
feel like The Witcher is going to be a pretty strong contender when it comes up.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Interesting.
Like my all of my games from here on out are my favourite games of all time. It doesn't really make sense, but they just sort of are. You're gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And the top one is 4 games, and every single one of them,
You guys have both gone for
first
multiple
place.
games, but I feel like mine is very obvious on what I've picked and my top choice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We
I'm
can't say it
gonna be
yet.
su-
because
I'll be
the-
surprised if I'm surprised.
I know mine's not winning number one.
I don't
I know
think mine
yours
is, to
is
be
winning
honest.
number one, Matt. I've seen it.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating that mine absolutely isn't winning number one. Because you
I
guys
think
won't fucking have any
somehow
idea.
I think we're going to give it to Chris just because
We
both
just
gonna
are,
go.
yeah.
And I
It's a
would
great
not say,
game.
I would not say it's the greatest game of all time at all.
No,
By
at
any
all.
stretch.
No, it's just that first place is always so personal, I guess.
Yeah.
So number 4.
Can I just say this is fucking superb. That it's gone Chris Matt me again. Like,
Well, it hasn't. Because Lego Star Wars was yours, but I also have it in my list.
No, he has. So,
wait, well, yeah, hang on. That's been mine.
It's been you the last two.
Yeah, you should be. You've got the blue one on.
I've only had Sky.
sorry, I've got the blue one. Sorry.
Ah.
That should be yellow.
The Sims 2.
You're gonna have
Fucking
to sell us
whatever.
on this one,
You're
Chris.
gonna have to do
So,
do a good
I
fucking job.
put Animal Crossing New Horizon as the second best life sim game, The Sims 2 is the greatest life sim game of all time because it does one thing that I have not found another life sim game do in my entire life. It's a simple thing. It's a simple thing that any life sim game could do, but they never do it. It's the fact that Sims 2 has multiplayer.
Wow, yeah, that is... I mean, simple is a strong word
Simple.
for multiplayer, but
It's
I know
simple.
what you mean.
It's something that any game could do. But the Sims 2 multiplayer for PlayStation 2 is absolutely phenomenal. Imagine, if you will, your brother goes to the toilet one day. You host a party in his absence. Everyone comes along. You switch over to your brother's sim that's been turning up all the time. You flirt with and make love with every single sim that comes to the party. When your brother comes back to the toilet, you go, hey, why don't we host a party to invite all the Sims over? When all the Sims come back, they found out that my brother's Sim has cheated on every male and female Sim in the neighbourhood. The next 2 hours involve Sims coming up to my brother's Sim and slapping him in the face with a fish.
I mean,
It's not the best gameplay moment of all time. It's the best real life moment of all time to watch my brother just witness a load of Sims come up to him, slap him in the face with a fucking fish. He gets so angry, shuts them all in the room, sets off some fireworks, and they all burn to ash. Now we make a graveyard, and we kill everyone we marry off.
Oh my God.
Lone widows, kill them after we marry, and get all of their money and their houses. Sims 2 for PlayStation 2. Phenomenal game. It is a game where the Animal Crossing New Horizons limits the player in ways where the player could become maliciously masochistic
Inclined.
with the citizens of the town. The Sims 2 doesn't think that players can be so cruel. And therefore, when two people come together, you can make massive chaos. It's so good that on my course, I became friends with somebody because of our mutual love of The Sims 2. They had a PlayStation 2 up at uni. They could get the colour to work on a PlayStation 2. We played The Sims 2 in black and white for a whole year together in split screen. At the end of the year, she started dating somebody who was good at tech and managed to fix the PlayStation 2, opened it up and fixed the colour card. And we played The Sims 2 again. It's the most hideous house I've ever seen in my entire life because we did it all in black and white. So it's all various different colours. It is The Sims 2. I have to say, gives me memories of times long gone by. No, it's a time where Sims. It's not filled with let's just have a fucking Star Wars DLC pack or whatever DLC pack. PlayStation 2 for Sims 2 is innocent because there's no DLC packs because it's a console game where there's no internet. And you've got multiplayer in it, and it feels like a full experience when you play it. The game is a platform. The game isn't great because of what you can achieve in the game. The game is great with what you can achieve with other people when you're playing it with them. When playing The Sims 2 with other people, I have had a fundamentally good time. Because you can only play it with one other person, and it becomes a very intimate place. Because even if you fuck around to begin with, in the day, after a couple of months, that becomes your home. And even if you fuck with the other person's sim and make them have an affair with everyone in the village, and then their wife leaves them along with the rest of the village, slapping them with fish, it doesn't matter. Because the main thing is important is that you're going to get fully upgraded promotions into your career by upgrading all of your skills. And isn't that what life is all about? That is why The Sims 2 is my fourth best game of all time. It's all about the game. It's about what the game can provide for me. And the game can provide instant fun to other people. And a lot of fun. It's fun in a meta sense. It's fun outside of the game because you can do a lot in the game. There's a lot of very funny out-of-game experiences with people screaming at the TV. Such as somebody saying, I want to sleep, but my sleep is uncomfortable because you're sitting there reading a book at the foot of my bed. And I was like, but this is where I put my reading chair. Just brilliant. It's a brilliant game.
Multiplayer Sims is such a weird idea, but fair enough.
Yeah.
Who's going next?
think it's me.
I
Go
think
on.
so.
Hit me.
Dishonored.
I played Dishonored. I haven't played in a long time. I played a bit of it.
It's probably like, of all the games on this list that are entirely story driven, I think this is the one I would go back to again. And like literally,
Yeah.
I remember finishing this game and going, I want to play that again, basically, because
Yeah.
there is like, there's quite a lot of customization in terms of like, you know, which powers you go for, whether you go for a more stealthy campaign or just hack and slash, and because every level has multiple different ways you can finish it, and there's all the different side bits that you can be doing as well within the games. There's hundreds of different things to like. It's each level has way more to explore than just what you're meant to be doing. You can find unique ways of completing things by utilizing different powers. There's different ways of taking out guards, using the different powers, different platforms and levels to use. The second game as well is really fucking good. The only reason I picked the first one over this one, over the second one, is that this one just drew me in so much, like as a game. It was man, it was just the shit at the time, because at the time when it came out, there were very few other games that were coming out that I was particularly interested in, and this one just kept me hooked for hours on end, like, because it was this super interesting dystopian fantasy, but also like old military style world, where you've got like people in there, like it's kind of like almost like Georgian era like attire, but with like future tech or like this weird cyberpunky tech. And it was so good.
Rats.
There's rats.
There's rats.
You can possess people. You can slow down time. You can
do a lot of wild
blink
shit
around. You can not kill people, or you can kill the shit out of them. And depending on how many people you kill, the more rats you get. You can make rats. You can make rats out of goo. You can summon rats, and they will eat a man.
It's a bizarre stealth action platform.
It's so good, because you can literally you can go
platform.
running in, gun and sword blazing, just popping off left and right, slow down time, stab, get about a 5 kill streak, run through, jump up onto another level, and let everything calm down. Or you can sneak up onto a roof, whistle one of the guards over, take him out quietly, call the next one over, take him out quietly, and slowly work your way through. And there's some puzzle games in it a bit, like puzzle levels in it a bit as well, where like you have to avoid the light, and you have to sneak around in the darkness because the light will just basically insta kill you. And there's some really interesting like side characters in the first one. The second one is a lot more focused on you and you running around on your own. First one's got some very interesting side characters in like the Alexander, the mechanic-y guy, and then because you have like the red vials and the blue vials. One replenishes your mana, one replenishes your health, and like it's all like using whale oil to fuel the electricity. I liked how original it was when it came out, and like there's not really too much like it either. I'd say. I think it's a really, really good, enjoyable. Like I say, I could go back to it and play it again and again, even though it's like 12 levels. I think.
It's quite short.
It's a short game, but like
I respect a game that doesn't outstay its welcome.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So, Transformers Armada.
I'm amazed because Chris, you've actually played this, haven't you?
I played the PlayStation 2 one. I can't remember what it's called. I thought it was just called Transformers.
It is, but
Yeah.
I specify Armada because it is Armada era Transformers. It
Sure.
is, yeah. It's like pretty unique actually. It's essentially a sort of, it plays almost eerily similarly to like modern day stealth action, open world, like third person shooter. It has this. It's not terrifying, but very tense, and as a kid especially so. Like they do. You're just one Autobot, just in a map of entirely Decepticons, just surrounding you in like military formation, patrolling. You have to infiltrate a place. You have to find these minicons that are lying around, which function like you can have 4 of them at once, and they function as essentially your abilities, your guns and your abilities. You have this incredible variety of different minicons to choose from that you can unlock and find that tailor how you want to play the game. Incredible like level of, for its time and for it's a pretty old PS2 game. Just an awful lot of like variety in how you could approach things. Very much like Dishonored or like a lot of like modern Ubisoft games, but in a very fresh and unlimited old school way. It had very interesting character design in the enemies and a lot of fear. It like they did just one of the biggest things that they did. They made the player sound effects really fucking loud, so you felt like you were making a racket. I mean, you're this massive hulking Optimus Prime just like clunking around big old stone temples trying to like stay quiet, and it's really really nerve-wracking because if one of them, and you hear this bloop, and you see one of them turn around and notice you, and he'll send off a fucking like flare and a dropship will come in and like, oh hang on, hello, oh it's a cat.
Have you played Transformers Armada?
Hello, Shelley. Jump. You want to talk about the game? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes. Where was I? Yeah, dropships. Like, and you can jump on that fucking dropship. You can shoot that dropship down. Like, there were so many things to this game, and it was buggy and it was old. But goddamn, did I love the shit out of this game. It was one of my first experiences playing PS2 games, and something that very much broke me into playing video games. Like it beats the shit out of you, but you keep on playing, and it's almost Dark Souls-esque in how hard, like it really fucking forces you to get good at what it wants you to do and how it wants you to play, which itself has a lot of variety. And yes, the final boss was dreadful. If anyone's actually played it, I know. Jesus Christ, what a waste of a design. But other than that, incredible game. Hello, Shadow.
So, I guess we'll start on Transformers Armada. So, who wants to vote for Transformers Armada?
I don't know what I'm voting for.
I feel like I like it, but I have to give it to the other one. So Dishonored.
I think it has to be Dishonored.
I think it has to be Dishonored.
Cracking game.
I've not played Dishonored, but the way Matt talked about it, I've
got to say the sequel is as good in its storytelling.
Yeah.
And also, because in the second one, you can play as either Corvo again, or
yes,
the daughter
the
grown up, and the daughter grown up. Such a good story. I feel like it's the more canonical.
Number 3. Welcome to the bomb. It's about to be laid down.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was wondering where Minecraft would come.
So, who wants to go first?
Not really.
It just went. No,
I think it is me, isn't it?
I think it's one of you two, yeah.
I was first
Okay.
on Witcher 3.
Yeah. Wait, so that would mean...
It's you first.
Yes, yeah, no, of course. Yep. So, I forced these two nerds to play Cultist Simulator without telling them really what was going on. And you know what? I think an interesting way of beginning this would be briefly, what was your experices? What did you really...
All I'm saying is I know who's getting my vote already, just from the titles. I've played both of these games, and I know which one I
was
enjoyed a hell of a lot more than the other.
It was a good game. I enjoyed myself. I'm surprised it's on the list. We'll say.
Really?
I don't think it's that. I think it was a good game.
Right. So, this game appeals to me specifically because I really, really, really love like cosmic horror, and I don't think any game will ever do it quite as well as this game did for a certain, just because of the unique way I approached it. I don't think I really gave you the. I can remember roughly how far you got into this. I don't really think I gave you the. I didn't give you the right introduction to this game. You should play it alone, probably. You should really like let yourself breathe through everything and like really figure out what's good. Like, this game is entirely about the flavor text.
Yeah,
and it's amazingly well written, and it does cosmic horror in a way that none of it's really scary or horrific. It's just weird and off
for me,
and it just perfectly captures Lovecraftian themes.
Yeah, this game was like incredibly unique in the way it functions as a game. I'm the sort of person who will take any sort of I'm not too concerned about what the setting is, just as long as it tells a good story. And it did. Chris made it somewhat difficult to follow along because he was trying to metagame the shit out of it.
Yeah, I think I put this is a game you should be allowed to explore in your own way. Definitely,
yeah. And it's definitely the
problem was me and Chris had very different ways of trying to play the game.
Yes,
which I would still go back to this game and try it again.
Yeah, I recommend it. There's so much to look at. There's so much to understand. It's such an interesting world.
I'm the type of game who it's why Danganronpa is like, because it's a visual novel, I pay attention to the story because that's really like the focus. But like, if there's gameplay, then like
it comes first.
The story kind of gets pushed down, and so because I was very inebriated when I was playing it, I was like, game, and I didn't read anything really. I was like, I've got to get things to win.
Chris was very focused on the cooldowns and the making.
Well, so this is what's so cool. Like it. If someone came to me and been like, "Hey, do you want to play this card-based resource management game?" I would be like, I mean, maybe, but that's fucking bizarre. What? Like, if someone had told me that was somehow a like noir cosmic horror cult game. Also, the name really is I don't know why they decided to call this Cultist Simulator. It is the single worst possible name they could have given this thing.
Any name, it makes it sound like
it
Farming
is.
Simulator or something.
It makes it sound like Goat Simulator or just some dumb bullshit. It's either boring or weird, and it's good weird. Like it's so much better than you'd assume that by the name.
The other thing that is incredibly satisfying with this game is when you correctly deduce what an interaction and you get rewarded with a bunch of cards is the rush of
I remember this is like there are a couple of games where like you really want to play you miss playing them the first time over and you can't really get that ever again. But I remember when I first figured out just the basic what was going on in the game. It's such an interesting puzzle to unravel, and there's so many more puzzles beyond it, and it just keeps on going and keeps on going. And even when you understand the mechanics, there's so much more to decipher in this thing. It's just unique. I've never played a game like it. The people that work on this have made similar games and are making a very similar game that I have my eyes on. But yeah, Culture Simulator is a game everyone who likes. I'm not a reader. I hate reading. I'm a very slow reader. It really is worth, if you're even remotely interested in that kind of theme, because it's very much one of those things. Like, if you like this kind of theme, then you should try it. If you don't, it's probably not for you. But I recommend this for anyone. Like, I fucking love Culture Simulator.
Matt, do you want to go next?
I can do.
Yeah.
Uncharted 4. Uncharted as a game franchise is not really a game. It's more of a movie with some gameplay elements in it. But the movie that the story it tells, just it's fun to just sit down and watch more, like watch it unravel more. So like you get the shooty bits are not, yeah, they can be fun. They're not the most important bit of the game. The puzzle solving and like the sort of running around the trying to solve, like get through to the next cutscene is where some of the like best gameplay bits come from. And I don't know if either of you have played Uncharted 4, but it just blows the entire franchise out of the water in comparison. This game is so much better than 1, 2 or 3. It has I think, I might be wrong when I say this, but I think there are more hours of like gameplay and cutscene in this one game than the entire trilogy beforehand put together. Jesus. It is so much longer. It tells us such a better story. Every single character and the entire plot is much better than anything they've done before. And the improvement in the graphics as well, because this was the one that came out on the PS4. Like everything else came out on the PS3, or I think, not sure if the first one came out on PS2.
Probably.
But honestly, this one, it's about finding pirates' treasure. It brings back every other character who you've ever met. You've got Nathan's brothers turned up, Sully's in there, Chloe comes back, Eleanor comes back. You get to play Crash Bandicoot in this game.
Yeah, you
It's
do.
fucking incredible.
I forgot that. Yeah,
and the ending is just a lovely little like bow on the present, on the gift that
I've
was
heard
this game. It wrapped up beautifully as a franchise, and is by far the best in the franchise.
Minecraft, hit us with your big, massive, expensive money cock.
What you've heard thus far are 2 games that are solely based on a story delivered to you. This is a game without a story. This is a game without really a goal. And this is a game that I think is fundamentally, if I was to rate this without my personal bias, is the best game ever made. It's a game so great that I don't think you can make a sequel to it, because what do you do in a sequel to the ultimate sandbox game? Minecraft is a game that is so influential that the music itself, when you're playing it, sends shivers down my spine sometimes.
We're gonna get DMCA. Shut the fuck up.
It's fine. It's completely royalty free.
Are you sure?
Yeah, C4 18 doesn't mind. Yeah, it's why when you watch a Minecraft Let's Play, they know how to play it.
I think some of the records.
Minecraft is a game which I came across in 2010, and I play to this day. I played in multiple worlds. It came out in 2009, but that was in its in-dev stage where it only had. the game is interesting in a way that I've never beaten the Ender Dragon. I've never explored the end, but it's a game that hooks me in a way no other game has done in my entire life. And I think that's mainly because I'm somebody who values... Ooh, I've actually turned it off, the music. It's a game that I value in terms of its gameplay more than anything. There are multiple servers that you can join without mods. One of them you can play the entirety of Legend of Zelda's Ocarina of Time, no mods included, all through a resource pack. You can play it through Minecraft. It's not just a game. I'd say more than what Little Big Planet tries to achieve, and more than Roblox tries to achieve, and more than any other sandbox game tries to achieve, is that it is truly a sandbox. I think it is a game really without limitations. There are blocks in the game which allow you to code the game itself to do various things for you. It's a game that has infinite value in terms of modding, and it's a game that you spend 20 quid on and continues to be updated to this day and into the indefinite future. It is the best-selling game of all time. It is a game that made YouTubers' career. It is a game that can be summed up in its name. You mine, you craft. And what you do after you mine and you craft is entirely up to you. You can build, you can beat the Ender Dragon, you can break the game to levels where you summon slimes out of nowhere, you make a slime farm, or you make a small house. You make a server for your friends at school, and you make a little village, and you make a woolen house. And 3 months later, somebody burns the entire village down with a flint of steel because they didn't realise how it all worked. It's a game where you go onto your friend's server who has their siblings on it, and you make a massive creeper statue, and you fill it entirely with TNT, and it blows up so much that it actually blows up not just their sister's house, but every house on the server. It is a game which I feel transcends generations. It's a game that some schools use as an educational tool. It is a game that governments have used to redevelop areas of communities into viable places that people want to go visit. Minecraft can be argued to maybe not be included on this list on the sole capacity that I think Minecraft achieves more than what a game tends to achieve. Minecraft is a game that achieves so much on such a small concept, and the amazing thing about it is that Minecraft fundamentally was made by one individual who didn't even think it was going to do well and did it as a tech demo that people got interested in. And I think Minecraft
That's the weirdest thing about it.
Represents what is beautiful about gaming, really. The creeper was a glitch of a pig with an upright body with 4 stubby legs, and ends up to be one of the most iconic creatures, not just in Minecraft, but the entirety of gaming. With its hiss probably being more recognisable to people across the globe than possibly Mickey Mouse. It's insane.
I mean, he's not necessarily wrong.
It's insane. It's not the game. It's not the game that I think is personally my favourite, but it's a game that I think when you pop onto a list of the top 10 games of all time would be criminal not to include at the inside.
It's interesting that we have here a game that is core mechanics and a very basic game, one that is entirely mechanics based, one that is entirely story driven, and one that is a
weird mix.
You can kind of just you work through it. You're given nothing at the beginning, and you just sort of have to go and solve it all for yourself. And it's a mix of story and mechanics that are very succinct. You've got very, very succinct mechanics, very succinct story, very succinct mix of both.
Yeah, and I think the main thing about Minecraft is that yes, you had the big buzz when it came out, but there's still people playing Minecraft to this day which get millions of views. It's insane. Like, I don't think it matters how much you personally enjoy Minecraft. It's very hard to
I'm thinking
argue.
about it, and I'm just like, Cultist Simulator sitting at number 3 of all time. Number 3 game, but it is really, really good, and it's such an indie sort of game to fill in that spot.
As is Minecraft.
Do you know what? I don't.
It's a fascinating list.
I don't know which one I'm going to vote for.
I don't know which one I'm going to vote for.
I don't know which one I'm going to vote for.
Should we vote?
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Chris. Oh wait, how do we do this? Okay. Who votes for Minecraft? I fucking no.
Minecraft.
Not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Oh fuck.
I'm not doing it. Because this. Which game I'd rather play right now? I'd rather try Uncharted 4. I've heard incredible things about it, and apparently it's a cracking story. I've played Minecraft. It was very good, and I respect it for being a ridiculously successful and worthy of said success game. But this is my top 10.
Okay. Who's voting for Uncharted 4 then?
I
can't believe, by the way, someone would get me to vote for Uncharted over Minecraft, but here we are.
I actually do have to say that it is just, it's the fact that it's a tycoon game, which very much goes into me, but B, it is a game that it does appeal to me very much.
It's
something that I know that if I got into the story, that I know I'd love even more. So I have to vote Cultist Simulator, which puts us in a tricky position.
I think it's fitting that I think it's fitting that these games tie because they are uncomparable and all pretty damn worth talking about and playing in their own right for very different reasons, which I like. I think if any of these lists of 3 was deserved equal attention, I think it's probably the 3 so far, at least.
Well, where do we go from here?
I think you just put tie.
I think I'd be happy with a tie.
I don't mind.
Because I don't really want to have an argument of being swung over to Cultist Simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cult Mine Chartered.
Cult Mine Chartered.
There we go. Yeah. So the next step.
Fascinating.
I don't know whether I can convince you guys over to this one, but I have to put it at second place.
Yeah, okay.
I think I go first.
Probably.
I think so.
Pokemon is a problematic franchise, I'm going to say. Because I'm going to explain why, and this explains my choice. Pokemon is one thing more than anything, but the Pokemon Company thinks it's another thing. The Pokemon Company thinks the main draw of Pokemon is the story. But that's not why people enjoy Pokemon. People enjoy Pokemon for 2 reasons. The Pokemon is the first one. I think the Pokemon designs, where you find these Pokemon, that is one of the main reasons why people play Pokemon. They don't give a shit who the fuck the gym leader is, or who the Elite Four member is, or who the fuck is your rival, really. Nobody gives a shit about what the story is, because it's not the main draw for Pokemon. People want to collect the Pokemon. The main tagline of the series is gotta catch them all. It's pretty simple why people like Pokemon. And when you have a core mechanic of people want to get all these Pokemon or find their favourite Pokemon, and when you look at the early games, you can see the other main drive where Pokemon came from, where originally the main creator liked to explore hidden caves and such for insects and bugs that they like to catch and kind of study, is exploration. You want a variety of places in the world that you can go explore and find mystical creatures, or find creatures that are very hard to discover. That's the second thing that I think Pokemon is all about. It's about discovering the lost. And I think out of all of the games in the Pokemon franchise, the one game that doesn't get bogged down in story, even though I do think it does have a great story, it's not focused entirely on it, because the main focus on it is the Pokemon. You fight the third legendary in a world called the Distortion Realm, where you have to do puzzles in order to get to the final place. You need to find Feebas in one of the lakes deep within Mount Coruscant. If you delve deeper, you find Heatran. And there are various places in the world where you can find Shaman, Arceus, Regigigas, and they are areas of the world that need to be explored. And if you didn't have the digital events, you'd be able to find them. Pokemon Platinum also has a multiplayer mode where you can go down into the mines underneath the entire region and meet up with other players, where you can trade, where you can have secret bases, where you can explore. And honestly, Pokemon Platinum is my favourite Pokemon game, because the Pokemon that exhibit there are very regionally distinct and are only limited in certain places. And it's not because of the gym leaders or the Elite Four. They are all window dressing. They're the icing on the cake. But the main body of the cake for Pokemon is and always will be discovering Pokemon and exploring Pokemon. And it's why the franchise does so well, because it does something that no other game franchise really focuses on. Exploration and bonding with the Pokemon that you get. A lot of people get very attached to their favourite Pokemon.
Lego Star Wars, do it.
Right, we've talked about Lego Star Wars already. It's a fucking fantastic franchise. The Clone Wars, the third one, the final one, is honestly the final Star Wars one at least, is the culmination of just about every best bit of every Lego game that had come before it.
I thought it was the full saga.
No, it's called the Clone Wars.
So this came out after the complete saga. So technically, I guess you could call it 4, but the complete saga is just 1 and 2 together. It's the same games. This is new. This is based off of the TV show, which is one of the best bits of the Star Wars canon, in my opinion. It's better than the prequel movies for sure. You start off with the prologue, which ties into the movie, I believe, and then you are basically given 3 separate mission lines that you can go down that tie into, that are like recreating episodes from the series, hunting down General Grievous, Count Dooku, and Asajj Ventress, who is like a unique one to that. Yeah. You can also play like the villain missions, where you play as Count Dooku, as Grievous, I believe. I might be wrong on that. But the best bit about it is there are some mission levels, where it is just an all-out big old war between clones and droids, and you sort of go running around as the Jedi, or there definitely is separatist levels, because you can flip these battles either way. You can play as the separatists, or you can play as the Jedi and the clones, and you have these like areas where you can deploy clone troops from. You can build certain ships that they color code them with like silver and gold. The gold ones fire lasers that can take out golden defenses. The silver ones fire like rocket launchers that take out that. You've got the force fields, and it's kind of a bit of a, you get to play God in this all-out war, and you have to slowly like work your way forwards, taking over the different areas before you end up fighting off like Count Dooku or Anakin or whoever it is to win the level. And it is like I say, it's the culmination of everything good from every Lego game that's come before it. and probably goes somewhat under the radar when people think back to Lego games that were made, just because it came out a bit later than like the powerhouses.
Yeah, I never heard about it.
Yeah,
Literally never heard about it somehow.
it's good. It had all like there was possibly the biggest roster of characters. I mean, they're fucking huge in those Lego games anyway, but it was pretty big, and the ships. You had all the ship battles as well in space that were fun. Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the video game.
Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Lego.
Witcher 3, the
Hell
video
yeah.
game.
It's The Witcher 3. You heard Chris talk about it. You want to be medieval Batman, but he's actually an interesting and funny character. You want to laugh at a video game, like unironically, with like fucking quality writing. You want to just do whatever the fuck you want. You want to play some fucking Gwent, motherfucker. Like, have you ever had a mini game that was actually kind of fun in a game? Like, everything about The Witcher 3 is like the culmination of everything that RPG could be. I'm excited to see what Cyberpunk does with CD Projekt Red's philosophy on how to build a fucking quality piece of content. That will be interesting, but I don't think that the perspective actually influences too much in their general like world building and like the way they approach that sort of stuff. Blood and Wine is the best. If Blood and Wine was a standalone game, it would have taken Witcher 3's place. I've never cared so much about characters in a game, without doubt. I've never been so invested in a game's story, and I've never had my choices in a game have so much impact on the way the story goes. I cannot tell you how many different ways this game can end. I dread to think. It's ludicrous. Like, this game is busting at the seams for quality, hand-built content, no matter where you look, no matter what you want to do, no matter what you look for in a video game, provided it's like, you know, RPG.
Okay.
Like, no matter what you want, there's something out there, just waiting to be found. It's amazing.
So, let's go through the votes. Lego Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars.
Let me think.
Pokemon Platinum.
Did you say Pokemon?
Yeah, Pokemon Platinum.
I don't even like Pokemon. I fucking hate turn-based games. Jesus Christ. But gotta give it to Pokemon.
Witcher 3.
Witcher 3.
It's a Witcher 3. That's what I knew where it was going.
Yeah.
When Witcher 3 came out, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be Witcher 3, isn't it, boys? Earlier on, I was like, well, Star Wars Battlefront 3 will still win if Witcher 3 gets through.
I'm interested to see what your...
Well,
I mean, I know what Chris's is.
I think you know what mine's going to be probably.
Be fast. I can't remember. I probably will.
I think
know.
Jamie's, yeah.
Oh no, I don't think I did know that. I was waiting for. I was surprised an Assassin's Creed wasn't already on.
I think mine's the final one this time, so I think.
I'll go first.
Matt is the first. Yeah.
Assassin's Creed.
Matt.
It was the video game franchise that really, like, as a teenager, really kept me playing video games, and it's had its ups, it's had its downs, and Rogue was definitely an up in a time where it was probably going through a big old down as a franchise, because this was the final game released on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, and it was so much better than the two games that came either side of it. You had Assassin's Creed 3 beforehand, which was obviously meant to be this culmination of an entire, and massively underwhelming. And then, of course, at the same time this came out, you had Assassin's Creed Unity on the PS4, and oh boy, what a glitchy game, what a shitty game that was. But this was, it was nice. It sort of round off the American period.
Was this the American one?
So the American Revolutionary War was in 3. You had Black Flag being like the Kenway kind of stuff, pirates, which was set before but came after.
Oh, because Revelations is like 2.5, isn't it?
So okay.
Yeah, of course.
Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed Revelations, Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed 4.
Which is Liberation or something.
No, Liberation was the one that came out on the PSP.
So, which one was the one where you play as the man in the Civil War of America?
3.
3.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And then 4 was the Pirates one, which is the best pirate game of all time. But
Apparently. So why is that not your... Why Rogue over that one?
Because I think from when I played it, the games that I played around the time of it, like, Black Flag was good, but Rogue was like this nice little send off to the kind of Kenway. It didn't have any Kenways in it, but it was here's an already assassin, part of the assassins, who goes like his master or whatever has a book from the first civilization that predicts natural earthquakes and like natural disasters. He gets sent to Portugal in the prologue to go and try and retrieve an artifact of Eden, a piece of Eden, and on the day that the book says a natural disaster is going to occur, the entire city of Lisbon gets completely fucked. I think it's Lisbon. It's somewhere in Portugal. And he comes back and is like, "You fucking knew about this, and you still let me go, and you didn't try and save anybody who was there. Yeah, you decided to let this happen. Nah, fuck that." He tries to steal the book and like quits. Gets tracked down as he's trying to run away, gets thrown off a cliff, and gets rescued by some Templars and becomes a Templar for the entire game. And it's nice. It was a really good flip of the script. You get to follow, you get to see it from the other side. And to be honest, I remember playing through it and thinking these Templars ain't half bad. I've spent the entire point up until now being told these people are evil. It's all about control and making sure everyone's in line. And the way that they sort of tell their story in both the present day and... Because Haytham Kenway turns up, who is like the Templar daddy of number 3 man. And the way that he like shows you his opinion, and you get the opinions of all the other Templars, and then also in the modern day, the Templar Abstergo people that you interact with, makes them see, it humanizes them in a way that most other game franchises don't always do with their villains. And it's easily in the top 3, and I think as a game it does exactly what it tried to do in a very good way, and also it leads up nicely into the new console games, because the epilogue leads directly into the start of Unity, even though that is easily the worst game in the franchise. But it left the franchise at a place it regained some of the dignity it had lost, and allowed for Unity to sort of be terrible, for then Syndicate to come out later on and really do some heavy lifting. But if Rogue hadn't come out, Unity would have pretty much killed off the franchise. I think a lot of the sort of fans like me would have taken Unity and gone, if it literally went straight from Black Flag to Unity, never would have played Assassin's Creed again, I don't think, because that is such a dip. But Rogue left it. I mean, Rogue left it so high that I was like, they've done it. They've made better than Black Flag. Surely they can do it again after Unity, and they did with Syndicate. Yeah. Syndicate is also one of the top 3 for me.
Jak and Daxter 3.
Yeah, so this is the first game I ever played, I want to say. Or at least, no, it's not. That's not true. But it's the first game that ever really, like, oh my god, I fucking need this. I played it at a friend's house, and I basically bought it the same day. And bear in mind, I was like 7, so that took some resourcefulness, gotta say. I wish I had come to this franchise like chronologically, because the way this story is told blows your fucking mind, kind of a little bit. Like, it's amazing. I really want someone to sit down and play this 1 through 4. These are without a doubt the most underrated PS2 games. Hand on heart.
Jamie,
the
I just
most
want
underrated PS2 games.
I just
What
want to
about
stop you, because
Madagascar?
if you want to see somebody play it blind, then I would not spoil anything, because I don't know really anything
Yeah,
about
I'm not
Jack and
gonna spoil. I'm not gonna spoil.
I
anything.
know
Because
a
I'm not
little
gonna
bit about Jackson.
Yeah,
Jackson, but not.
I don't want to say too much. First of
really
all, I could talk.
story-based.
I could talk for literally hours about these games. Also, I'd love this. I'd love to watch someone play it and see what they thought about it.
me and Matt can play it.
The first game I'm going to be basing my next D&D campaign off of, largely. The fourth game, Jack X, is a arcade racer, much like... It's literally, in my opinion, it is a contender to Mario Kart. And I'm dead serious about that.
Along with
it
Crash
is essentially
Team Racing.
edgy, early 2000s, weird, very weird, East meets West, fusion, like cartoon world, arcade shooter, it's Mario Kart 8 with, but like on the PS2 and at like 300 miles an hour with a lot more edge. And it's fucking sick. It's a ridiculously cool game. I picked Jack 3 because it's the first game I played. It is maybe not quite as good story as 2, but it has the widest array of elements of all of the games and does some really cool stuff with it. They're just fucking brilliant ass games and the biggest pillar of my childhood, like in terms of video games, without doubt. So I couldn't not pick the Jack and Daxter series. Also, mainly just because of how criminally underrated these games are. No one knows about these fucking things. It's ridiculous. Like, they rival Ratchet and Clank and Crash Bandicoot as like the mascots of PS2 in my eyes, and they deserve to.
And Chris, I'm really sorry, but we've run out of time to discuss Mario Kart.
So, let's go back in time. Mario Kart is a game franchise that has been developing slowly and refining itself for many years. And I can say at Mario Kart DS, it finally achieved the legs it had in order to be considered one of the greats. N64 has one of the biggest speedrunning scenes of all time, but DS is where I think it elevates to another level, upon which I think Mario Kart continues to develop and improve generation after generation after generation, and it accumulates into the magnificence that is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The game is customizable as fuck. The roster is insanely large, and it is only the cusp of the beginning of the Mario Kart franchise in terms of where it can develop. The game gets more complex whilst leaving the simplistic building blocks below. One thing that you may have noticed through this whole discussion is that whenever somebody has brought up a racing game, the comparison always ends up to Mario Kart. That's because Mario Kart is seen as the true to force base standard for these games. It is a game series that, despite me feeling the controls are at its absolute pinnacle and they can't get any better, it's also a franchise that when they introduce a new entry, I expect and would be surprised to find if it wasn't true, the controls to have somehow improved on the previous iteration. When I played Mario Kart DS, I thought the controls couldn't get any better. Then I played Mario Kart Wii, and I thought the controls couldn't get any better. And even between Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, they edited the engine to the nth degree to make it even easier, even more simple to sit into in terms of its driving. Mario Kart 8 may not have bells and whistles like other games, but what Mario Kart 8 has is a base standard. It is a go-karting game. It is accessible to everyone with depth to go along with it. It is a party game, so it has items. You can play without them, but with them it allows for an equalization between the highly skilled and the less skilled to make it feel like everyone is playing.
Just about.
If somebody had never played a video game before and they came to me and they asked me, what should my first game be? There is no way I could recommend anything other than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And if an experienced player came to me and asked me for a recommendation of a game, because racing games are so hard to be recommended, as people normally tend towards shooters or more creative games, I can still recommend Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because I know it is a game that is designed to be enjoyable for all audiences, serious or casual. And that is why I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the best game of all time. It's such a pretty game. It is a game with a bow on top, and it might not be the most
music.
It's not the most impressive game. It's not the most outstanding game. The mechanics aren't going to blow you away, but what it does well. The graphics are great, the music is great, because the whole game is designed around making you enjoy racing with your friends.
Except for the blue shell.
And the lightning.
That's what the blue shell.
Oh, the lightning.
Except for the fucking lightning. But otherwise,
lightning.
otherwise, I think it's
Blizzard, please.
I think it's
Chris,
It's
vote time.
Yeah, you've made your point.
I don't know who I vote for.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I haven't said as much as I could. In the interest of time, I haven't said as much as I could about Jack and Daxter.
Let's start with Jack and Daxter. Anyone?
I think I do vote for Jack and Daxter. But...
Okay.
I'd be fascinated to see your guys' takes on it.
That'd
be very interesting.
Assassin's Creed Rogue.
I can't. I'm sorry.
No.
I think it's the
Mario
fact that
Kart.
it's not.
It has to
Yeah.
be
It's
Mario
Mario
Kart.
Kart. Yeah, that's
Like,
fine.
it has to be Mario Kart.
I understand a lot of people don't like Assassin's Creed.
No, it's not that I don't. It's not that I don't like Assassin's Creed. I do like Assassin's Creed. It ain't Mario Kart.
It's not Mario Kart. You're right.
I think it's the fact that with Assassin's Creed, it's the issue I have with Assassin's Creed is that I like a particular type of Assassin's Creed, and that particular
Interesting.
type of Assassin's Creed happens to be
Assassin's Creed 2.
Assassin's Creed 2. Yes.
Yeah.
If not, I probably would have been swayed over
I'd
Assassin's
say,
Creed. It's the fact that I don't like the open world. I like small map where a lot of stuff can be done.
Rogue is Assassin's Creed 2 is probably the smallest open world
Concisest.
in the sense
Yeah.
that this is the area because it's just a town. It's just Florence, apart from when you go to Tuscany for one chapter. But I think Rogue is more of a just level by level type than
You've changed the colours.
So I think
The winner chicken dinner colour is not your normal colour.
but
I won.
yeah,
I'm very proud of myself.
yeah, you did.
I did win. Every single game that wasn't the one that I chose, I got the runner-up. Yeesh.
I mean,
Which goes to show our game preferences, where it's very much Chris on one side, Matt on the other, and me in the middle.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it comes down to I think the Minecraft Uncharted Cultist is the best example of that. That
Yes,
Chris
it
is
really
more,
is.
Chris is more of a gameplay boy. I'm more of a story boy, and you like a bit of both.
You like a bit of both.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's also, you can see that like Jamie and myself put Witcher 3 in the top 10 games.
Yeah, I've not.
And
played it,
also-
so I couldn't.
Battlefront 2 is on everyone's
Everyone's
list. Even Matt, who didn't own the game.
Didn't own the
that's
game,
funny.
and it's still
Yeah. I thought there'd be a lot more fighting with this one, but it's a very long episode. But I think
Yes. It'll be quick. It'll
So-
be medium length. He said medium. It's
I thought it
fucking-
would be medium.
it's
I
4
fucking knew
o'clock
it.
in the
I
morning.
fucking knew it. We did a 4-hour, well, no, 3.20.
Yeah.
I fucking knew it.
Do you have other things in your top 10 games?
I know where most
Fuck
of the
off.
time
Let us
gone.
know in the comments. Fuck off.
Fuck off. We would do an outro this time, but the podcast is fucking long enough. Astral
You know where to
Fisher on
find us.
Twitch. Pots and Pans on fucking SoundCloud. Jacko W on Twitch.
I'm
Be
green.
there. Be square. We will play Danganronpa. And we'll play Jack and Daxter.
I think we're going to play a
at
bunch
some
of these
point.
games at some point.
This
Yeah.
has been very good because there's an enormous number of games that I really want to play.
We need to get the
I wanna
adapter
play.
for 007 Nightfire so we can get the extra controllers
Oh
and
my
we can
God.
play some fucking 4-player 007 Nightfire or someone. But yeah,
Jesus Christ.
that's what I want. Bye everybody.
Goodbye. I hope you liked the video games.